which is coming in. BJP is now trolling the Congress party over the link that it had made between cheetahs and the lumpy virus. Remember, Maharashtra Congress President Nana Patole had said that lumpy skin disease virus existed in Nigeria for a long time, and the cheetahs, when they were brought to India, rehabilitated, had brought it in. And now you have Jyotiraditya Scindia, the union minister, who's trolling Nana Patole, says that the cheetahs were brought to India from Namibia and not Nigeria. Well, there you have it, a retort coming in from Jyotiraditya Scindia. But this is what Nana Patole had to say earlier in the day.
ये लंपी लोग जो है नाइजीरिया करके एक देश है, वहाँ पर ये कई सालों से था, और ये चित्ता भी जो लाया गया है उधर से ही लाया गया है। तो चित्ते के चिट्ठे और गैया के चिट्ठे ये दोनों समान आते हैं। ये केंद्र की सरकार ने जानबूझकर किसानों का नुकसान करने के लिए ये व्यवस्था बनाई है।
Let me go across to Arunil. Arunil, very interesting to say this trolling back and forth between Namibia and Nigeria. This is what happens when you get your geography wrong, I guess.
Well, that is right. Clear-cut misinformation, false information being spread by Maharashtra Congress chief Nana Patole, a leader of his stature, spreading completely wrong information, misplaced information, basically saying that the cheetahs were brought from Nigeria, and the lumpy virus also came in from Nigeria. The central government wanted to spread the lumpy virus to harm the farmers, and that is why they got the cheetah, so that the lumpy virus spread amongst the cattle in India. Very absurd statement, very misplaced statement, and wrong information as well, because the cheetahs were brought in from Namibia, and clearly there is no connection between the lumpy virus and the cheetahs that were brought in over here. Now, whether there will be an apology that will come in from Nana Patole for this kind of for spreading this kind of wrong information, that we will be awaiting.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is going to be very interesting, because after all, the cheetahs saw a lot of politics on the day that when they were rehabilitated into India, Arunil, and now politics continues. This time, a bizarre link which was drawn to the lumpy virus.
Well, Jyotiraditya Scindia, the union minister, BJP leader, has cleared out also, hit back at Nana Patole, giving the right information, saying that the cheetahs were brought in from Namibia, and why are you spreading this kind of wrong information. Now, coming to what Nana Patole said, very absurd and very shocking, baffling statement, one can say, linking the cheetahs with the lumpy virus. Now, where did he get all this kind of scientific proof from? And also, the cheetahs were not brought in from Nigeria, giving that kind of information in public domain only. Was Absolutely. It to just rile up the farmers and rile up the citizens of India to use them against the central government, that is the BJP?
Right.
That is the main question that comes to the fore. But widespread wrong information.
Well, yes, this is wrong information which is being sent out and now being fact-checked by Jyotiraditya Scindia. Thank you so much, Arunil. Let's move on now. Well, ahead of the 5th of October, where both the Shinde faction and the Uddhav faction of the Shiv Sena are all set to hold rallies in Mumbai, a teaser war has already begun. First, it was the Shinde faction which released a teaser taunting the Uddhav camp with the slogan Ek Neta, Ek Paksh and Ek Nath, saying all Sainiks must come to the BKC to listen to Bala Saheb Thackeray's Hindutva ideology. Team Uddhav, meanwhile, has now released a counter teaser to take on the ruling faction, which says they will not backstab anyone, but will not backstab the backstabbers.
पर मैं बहस नहीं करूंगा।
आप ये बोल रहे हो कि दूसरा कैंप रावण का कैंप है? फिर
हो सकता है, वही तो मैं अपने आप को उदाहरण दे दिया मैंने आपको कि रावण के साथ भी ये दशहरा है ना भैया, तो उसके लिए मैंने कहा उसमें रावण का वहाँ दहन होता है। आप वो भी देख रहे हो, तो बंगाली लोग वहाँ दशहरा रैली बनाते उत्सव मनाते हैं। अब हमारे उत्तर भारतीय भाई दशहरा की यहाँ मनाते हैं। नवरात्रि चलती रहती। दुर्गा का मतलब क्या है? दुर्गा क्या कहती है? जय देवी महिषासुर मर्दिनी। असुर है ना, असुर ये नहीं कि सामने राक्षसी दिखना चाहिए, राक्षसी प्रवृत्ति होती है, इसलिए मैंने अपवित्र कहा। तो अपवित्र लोगों की जो बनने में कामना है वो ये माता पूरी नहीं करने देगी।
Well, that's all we could pack in for you here on News Pulse. Thank you for watching. With that, it's time for India Up Front with our editor-in-chief, Rahul Shivshankar.
Thanks indeed, Meghna. Yes, viewers, as always, the biggest story at the top of India up front. Now, viewers, here's a question. Are Garba organizers who are restricting invitations only to Hindus for participating in religious festivities guilty of bringing in a kind of segregation or apartheid? It's a fundamental question. On the face of it, this is a pretty straightforward question with a pretty straightforward answer. Many will say that the Garba, which refers to the womb, is a form of religious devotion as a tribute to goddess Durga, and as such, Hindus have absolute rights under Article 25 of the Constitution to invite who they please. But viewers, in the light of gut-wrenching visuals of Muslim attendees being beaten up by Bajrang Dal or other allied Hindu groups, the answer has become much more complicated, or that much more complicated. Hindus say they are not only justified in keeping Muslims out, and I'm not talking about all Hindus, viewers here, I'm talking about certain groups who are defending their actions. And these groups say they're also within their right to punish Muslim youth if they deliberately enter the Garba pandals to eve tease Hindu women or gawk or engage in other forms of undesirable activities. Some have even asked, why do Muslims that have no respect for other religions want to attend a religious event like the Garba? Others, in a bid to draw false equivalences, have come out and said, viewers, that the violence is justified because when Hindu groups take processions through areas where Muslims might be in larger numbers or outside of mosques on their days of festivities, then they are pelted with stones. They are attacked. Now, viewers, listen to some of these reactions that have been coming in. Listen in.
और मैं कहती हूँ आइडेंटिटी चेक भी किया जाए और मुस्लिम समुदाय के लोगों को वहाँ पर जाने ना दिया जाए। हम हमारी पूजा पद्धति को शुद्ध रखना चाहते हैं, करना चाहते हैं।
मैंने उस समय प्रार्थना भी कर ली थी कि माँ की आराधना करना है तो कोई भी धर्म के लोग कर सकते हैं, अलग से करें।
देखिए, बहुत ज़रूरी है ये सब चीज़ें, और यदि असामाजिक तत्व आकर वहाँ का वातावरण, धार्मिक वातावरण को अगर गंदा करते हैं तो मैं समझता हूँ इसके लिए आयोजकों को उसकी चिंता करना चाहिए।
लव जिहाद एक बड़ी मुसीबत था राष्ट्र की, इसीलिए तो उस पर कानून हमें बनाना पड़ा। हम लोगों ने ये आग्रह किया है कि किसी भी गरबा पंडाल में बिना आईडी के किसी को प्रवेश नहीं मिले, और कोई दूसरे लोग भी आना चाहते हैं तो वो अपनी पत्नी, माँ, बेटी इनको साथ लेकर आए।
Now, viewers, while some of these ministers from the BJP, MPs from the BJP or other Hindu groups are invoking their constitutional right to freely practice and profess their faith, there can be no excuse to take the law into their hands and dispense vigilante justice. There can just be no excuse. You have a problem, you think someone there has crashed the event, has behaved inappropriately, call the police, hand over the youth, hand over the people to the police. Law and order. You cannot dispense justice and then attempt a post-rationalization. Viewers, let's ask the larger question though. As we set that one Lakshman Rekha, that you cannot resort to violence, the fundamental question is, when restrictions are being imposed, is this actually fostering a feeling of segregation, apartheid, or are the Hindus only doing what their constitution allows them to do under various articles? That's the fundamental question. And let's ask some of these questions, viewers, without prejudice to anyone. I want to first begin with Rahul Ishwar. Rahul Ishwar, I want you to pay attention to certain facts that have been drawn to my attention today in the course of our research. And viewers, these are hard facts, well established. You can quote them. You can even cross-reference them. It's a well-known fact that non-Muslims can't travel to Mecca. Remember, viewers, we are talking about the Garba. This is not a cultural event. This is a religious event. That's what we're told. Dress codes are routinely imposed at gurdwaras and mosques and even at temples. The Eidgah Maidan in Karnataka in Hubli was off limits to an entire community desirous of holding Ganesh Chaturthi celebrations. That matter even went to court. It was resolved in favor of those who maintained or managed the Eidgah. Agyaris can impose restrictions on the entry of non-Parsis. Procedure of conducting rituals is in the exclusive preserve of the Devasthanam. This has been said by the Supreme Court in Sarika versus Sri Mahakaleshwar Mandir Committee case in 2018. I think you yourself, Rahul Ishwar, have championed the rights of the deity in the Sabrimala matter, saying that the right to pray cannot be legislated upon in any which way. Kerala High Court has rejected third-party bid calling for the entry of KJ Yesudas into the Guruvayur temple also in 2010. Now, here are some facts, viewers. Now, you can say that these facts, on the face of it, promote segregation or apartheid, but that is the Constitution. It allows you to observe your rituals, your prayers, and your practices. So, first of all, Rahul Ishwar, answer to the charge that this is segregation by another means. This is the Hindu right discriminating against Muslim brothers.
Okay, Rahul Shivsagarji, just three submissions. One, I'm a pluralist, I'm a Gandhian. I totally believe we should have inclusion, we should celebrate our diversity. And even in Sabrimala, we have, we have an Islamic shrine inside Sabrimala also enrooted where we celebrate our diversity. So India as a civilization has been always pluralistic and harmoniously pluralistic. Second point, but there are some nuances to it. Or even though the broader principle is we all agree, the nuance is that if it is a public function, yes, there are reasonable, we cannot say that somebody cannot enter and can enter. But if it is a private function happening, as you rightly pointed out, there are some religious functions, ritualistic functions. So rather than the cultural aspect, the religious aspect is being faithfully observed by many people. After the debate last time, I had a word with many people in Gujarat where they find it a bit not comfortable for people who doesn't believe in the deity or Mata Durga, being there only for the festivities and the cultural aspect. So there are natural inhibition on the part of people. So their sensitivity should be respected. For example, if I'm a devotee, if I'm organizing a particular function and Mata's deity has a particular religious significance, those people who are not observant of the rituals, customs, traditions, if they are coming only for the festivity part, as a religiously devout person, I may find it not comfortable. So you cannot call me a segregationist just because of that. So there are nuances, there are varied viewpoints in it. We should be mindful and respectful. Yes, and third point, as you rightly and brilliantly said, please, it brings shame to us Hindus when somebody is taking law to their own hands, especially on the, on the occasions of Gandhi Jayanti where our Muslim brothers are being beaten up. It paints India bad in the world. We fall from our stature of Vishwaguru when such violence is happened. That is extremely painful and brings shames to Hindus and Hindustan and India. India. So please remember that violence is absolutely abhorrible. At the same point of time, if there are some spiritually observant people who are not comfortable with people who are not faithful, spiritually and religiously faithful, their sentiments should be respected because they are private functions, and under Article 25 and 26, these private functions have their own sanctity. And just one last line, just like in Shabarimala or any other temple, Article 25 and 26 gives us right to observe one particular thing, and these are private spaces, these are not public parks, these are not picnic spots. So their sentiments should be respected, and there are many people who are uncomfortable with people who are not observant. So let us respect them, but as a matter of principle, yes, we should definitely include anyone, no violence, but there are some people who are uncomfortable, let us respect them.
Okay. Okay, let's open this further. Let me bring in Tanveer Ahmed, national spokesperson of the JDS first. Mr. Ahmed, can it be denied that Garba celebrations are a religious practice? That's my first open-ended question to you, sir.
Absolutely no. Garba is a religious function which is celebrated here in India. And recently in Asian Games, I think Garba was celebrated and all the Muslim athletes were dancing. And Chris Gayle was also dancing in one of the function. And when Chris Gayle can really enter, as an Indian, it is an Indian festival I've been celebrating for a very long time. I've been a chief guest for Garba festival for last 3 years. Before that, I used to go. But coming right now, few fringe elements really want to make this as a political issue or a religious issue. Coming out with a diktat that Muslims or a particular community is not allowed is absolutely on an international platform shameful. But if some individuals are organizing and saying that a particular community, it is their right. But what is the picture which we are portraying across the globe, that India is so intolerant towards Indians? I mean, Rahul, I understand Article 21, 25, which you have really stated, but the religion which speaks about Sarve Jano Sukhino Bhavatu, the religion which says Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and today you are coming and dividing this in the name of religion just because of some fringe elements want to divide on political angle. Come on, I don't think this was an India which Bapu dreamt, and this is not the India which you and I want for to give it to our kids. On Eid, every Eid, more than 500 to 700 Hindus do come to my house and celebrate along with me. And this is what an India which I thought this is what an India I want to give it to my children and grandchildren, not the fringe which they are trying to create India on divisiveness.
Okay. Don't mainstream a fringe obsession, Ratan Sharda, says Tanveer Ahmed, national spokesperson of the JDS. Why are we so insecure about our faith? Why do we believe that a few Muslims, etc., are in any way going to undermine our religious festivities? That's the open-ended question, and I want to then make a small comment based on some facts. Mr. Ratan Sharda, please respond.
First of all, we agree it's a religion.
Now, why should anybody who doesn't believe in that religion should come to the religious program? You don't believe in idol worship. Idol worship is haram. You break idols. Music is haram. Dancing is haram. So people for whom these are haram, why should they come to Garba? Thirdly, if Eidgah could not celebrate Ganpati festival, how was the Eidgah Maidan in
Sir, there is a difference between Taliban Islam and Indian Islam, sir.
One second, sir.
Taliban Islam and Indian
Let's
Islam.
Let's not speak over each other. You can respond to him.
Talk about Taliban Islam.
Okay, 1 second.
No.
Tanveer Ahmed, 1 second, please.
That is the viewpoint of Taliban Islam. That is not the viewpoint of Tanveer Ahmed.
Yes, you can respond to him. Let him finish. He never interrupted you. He may not have thought that your voice was music to his ears, but he still don't interrupt you. Please, let him finish. You can respond to him. I'll have everyone respond. No problems. Yes, Mr. Ratan Shah.
I did not call Tanveer Ahmed Talibani. I said generally what is the Muslim view. It is written in their hadith in Quran. I don't want to quote because then you will say who are you to quote it. But the people know that it is not allowed. Even Sufis are not considered pure Islam as far as hardcore Islam is concerned. If you cannot have Eidgah Maidan celebrate Ganpati because that is some kind of disrupting the sanctity of that place, then I believe you can go there. And why should a person go there with a false identity? If somebody says, okay, I worship Durga, I have equal respect for Durga, he goes and worships Durga and goes for Garba, no problem. Whether it's Christian, Muslim, Islam, anybody. But if you say that idol worship is haram, if you say that music and dance is not allowed, then you come there to have fun. Like I said, okay, come with the family. If it is a cultural function, why these boys are alone there? Any reason for that? And trying to tag Hindus with good boy image and not to take any action. Are they doing sartan se juda? They are not. They are simply a little bit upset. And if police is there, they would hand those people to police. So this falsehood of typically, creating false identity, going to enjoy there when you don't believe in a single thing. There are a person who abused Hindu gods, who ridiculed Hindu gods and goes for Garba. Should you allow it? There is a lady who said in Shaheen Bagh that abhi achhi tarah raho, jab aapka raj aayega to aap jo marji karo, or something like that. That he wants to go to celebrate Garba on what grounds? In Shaheen Bagh, people who actually insulted Hindus putting up abusive posters, should they go to the Garba? So it is not Garba pure. I am saying Navaratri Garba. If I go to a hall in my society, if I celebrate Garba just for the heck of it, for enjoying, everybody is welcome. But if you go to Pandal, there is Devi Puja, either you agree that you give respect to all the religion. Do Muslims do that? Do they agree that all gods are equal, all religions are equal? Sorry, it's not said so. It is very clearly mentioned. So on that ground, let them enjoy their festivity. Let me enjoy my festivity. Where our hearts meet, we are ready to go to each other's homes. Do go. I allow namaz in my home, but till a Muslim allow bhajan in his home. I allow Muslims to have namaz in my temple. Would they allow me to have bhajan in their mosque? They will not allow. So to say one person does it is fine, other person does not fine, I don't understand this hypocrisy at all.
Okay. Very quickly, Tanveer Ahmed, you wanted to respond. You get the first right to respond. I just want to point out a couple of things, viewers. In the course of this debate, you will hear unity in diversity. You will hear phrases which are separate but equal. Now, if the principle of separate but equal were to be adhered to in letter and spirit, viewers, then we would have no problems. But India is a country where the majority community, which is obviously made up of a majority of Hindus, they are not allowed, for example, to administer their own temples. The state does so. Tens of thousands of temples come under state jurisdiction. This is not true of other faiths. So the very statement, separate but equal, falls flat by just quoting this one example. We have a Hindu code bill. We have a Hindu code bill likewise for the Christians, and these are subject to judicial scrutiny as they have been clearly codified. But for the Muslim community, largely exempted. In fact, some people say only on a couple of issues. Largely. Be it over the marriageable age of a woman, or how many times a man is allowed to marry, etc., etc. A man is allowed to marry, etc., etc. So, viewers, here this principle of separate but equal is clearly abused. The Supreme Court also intervenes in the Sabrimala matter, as we referred to right at the top of this debate. Rahul Ishwar was one of those who was very upset. Of course, the matter is now in review. Once again, Hindu religious practices in just one temple was something that invited the Supreme Court's intervention. The question is, if Muslim attendees want to enter Garba pandals and they are being denied entry, they can also approach the courts and see whether their plea under Article 14 or 15 can be sustained, Article 25 being exercised by the Hindu community. But a community organizing a Garba event has a right to regulate entry. Correct. That, unfortunately, whether we like it or not, is a principle and can be applied in letter and spirit, Mr. Ahmed. So how do you say that today the Hindus are becoming intolerant, etc.? They're only exercising what is their right. And if you don't believe in either their gods, either in idol worship or religious Hindu devotional songs, I mean, there are some Muslims that even have a problem with chanting Ram Naam Rasapi Jai, or even, for that matter, Ishwar Allah Tero Naam, or for that matter, Vande Mataram. Then the Hindu community can say, well, if you are not believers, then why come? What is the compulsion bringing you here?
Rahul, as you and I speak, My daughter Sakina and Iman, along with their mother, are there in a pandal. They are actually gone for a Garba festival. One. And second thing, yes, what Mr. Ratan Sharda is saying is absolutely right. And the Muslim community is contemplating on it. Today in Bangalore, we have started a program called Masjid Darshan, where on every Friday, Saturday and Sunday we invite our Hindu brothers to come to the top mosques of Bangalore, come and visit us and be the part of the celebration and enjoy and see what does Islam speak about, how can we really build an India together when these people are Ratan Shahda ji, I don't know about the masjid part, but if you want to do bhajan at my house, you're more than welcome. Please come with your mandali. I would provide food and everything, whatever possible, for you to do bhajan at my house. Definitely, that is
agree.
I would allow you.
I am talking community level, not individual. Community level, what is the strategy? A wonderful start. I really agree
as
with you.
As a community level,
that.
we have taken an initiative.
Yeah, take another step. I will welcome that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, one second. Let me bring in
Rahul. I think somewhere we have to really meet our hearts.
Okay, look, that's the fundamental point. Sriraj Nair, national spokesperson of the VHP, it's not really about the law. It's about, at the end of the day, the spirit also. Spirit of brotherhood, tolerance, etc. Allow everybody from a different community, says Tanveer Ahmed. What's the problem? How would you like to respond to him? And Tehseen, please respond to Mr. Nair right after. Yes.
See, Rahul, I have been on your channel. This is my third consecutive day, and I've been saying the same thing. The Garba Pandals or the Bajrang Dal activists or the cadres, if they are doing something right now, it is based on the past experiences. Now you heard, you played what Honorable Home Minister of Madhya Pradesh said, what Mr. Kailash said, and what that Honorable Lady Minister said. See, why they want to come alone, and why are they not accompanying their sisters, daughters or mothers? And there is a malified intentions. Why again and again we also repeat, when they don't believe in idol worship, when they say that is haram, the Buddha parasti is haram, when music is haram, Devman had issued a fatwa about music and dance as haram. Rahul is sitting here, a cleric in Kerala, Mujahid Balushari, he said music is haram and that is the dirtiest thing on this planet. So all these clerics have been issuing fatwas, and why they want to enter our Garba Pandal with malified intentions and with fake and that too with a fake identity. So the Bajrang Dal activists will do their job. We don't want these Muslims to commit shirk. Let them follow the Islam and not according to their own convenience. If they want to follow Islam according to properly and not according to their own convenience. We don't want them to commit shirk. We don't want them to come in our pandals. And Garba, again, Navratri is not a cultural festival. It is a religious festival. I have lived in Gujarat. I have lived in Karnavati, Ahmedabad for nearly 18 years. And I can say I've been since my childhood I have been seeing before Garba there is Aarti, when the Garba is over there is Aarti. So this is a purely an out and out religious festival. Muslims with malified interest,
okay, but Mr. Nair,
and fake identity.
Mr. Nair, quick question to you.
Not allow at any cost. And Bajrang Dal
okay, no, one second.
They're asking for it.
One second. Lower his fader. Listen. Mr. Nair, don't get so excited. Calm down.
No, not the question.
No, one second. Let me finish. I never interrupted you. Let me finish. Don't shout. Don't scream. No, put it down. I'm not going to allow you, Mr. Nair, to try here and condone violence. Okay? You can go on Twitter and you can get into a twist about it. But there can be no one condoning violence. I want to ask, today the governments of the state of Madhya Pradesh, etc., where violence has taken place, as to why there has been no arrest. At least not to my knowledge, viewers. So don't let Mr. Nair tonight justify violence. Because people like Mr. Nair and other reactionaries on the other side are spoiling or itching for some kind of conflagration, and that will not be allowed. they are nobody to police anything. They are nobody. And I hope that Ratanji and Rahul Ishwar, we are agreed on at least that. Mr. Sharda, that there can be no, extrajudicial forces, etc., trying to, impose the law of the land. I hope, Mr. Sharda, we are agreed on that. Because otherwise, none of us will have any leg to stand on to say that those who are today calling for Sartan se Juda are saying something illegal. If you go down that route, you abandon any and every pretense of seeking justice. Am I wrong, Mr. Ratan Sharda? Isn't Mr. Nair being slightly today irresponsible? Straight question.
I wouldn't call it irresponsible. I would say that, okay, they should be pushed out. A slap out doesn't make a sartan se juda. They take out, they go to the police, and he goes to the police. But if you think that security guard standing there would be quiet and not take any action, that would also be not true.
No, what kind of action?
Why come with a false identity?
What kind of action, Ratan Sharda, do you want to contemplate?
Yeah, they have been taken out. They have been taken out, right?
Taken out
you
where?
Say, okay, you should say that to the police.
Yeah, that's
so
fine. You can hand over somebody to the police.
Pandal.
You can hand over somebody to the police. But Ratan Sharda, I hope you are not here suggesting that immediate on the spot violent justice should be dispensed. I hope that...
I am saying you can't have the same hyper anger against the people who are trying to take the people out of the pandal as what people call Sartan se Juda justify on the TV debates. In the name of saying that they've been insulted. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's fine. You can say that, but I hope you're agreed on the point that no one can beat up anybody physically.
Violence.
Right? I hope that there is some agreement there, no Mr. Sharda.
Yeah.
I am not going the Gandhian path. I am saying we should be restrained. That's all I'm saying.
We should be restrained. Fair enough. If that means just handing over somebody to the police, that's fine. But there will be no violence. That can't happen. No civilized society can allow for that. Rahul Ishwar, very quickly.
Just one line. See, non-violence is non-negotiable in any modern democracy. And please remember, India can be a Vishwaguru when we go down the path of Gandhian line. Our PM is inaugurating temples even in official Muslim nations. We are inaugurating, Modi ji inaugurated a temple there. This is happening in a week when Pujaniya Sarsang Chalak reached out to a mosque. He went to a madrasa. He was reassuring our Muslim community. So a bit more harmonious line will be there. I respect Nair ji immensely. He knows. I studied in Ahmedabad. I know the religious significance there, but at the same point of time, I believe we should take a more harmonious path. Otherwise, it will be unnecessarily confrontational.
Okay.
When conciliation is possible, why have confrontation?
Okay, Tehseen Poonawalla, let's go beyond this and ask a larger question. I'm asking you this question. It's an important one. Now that we've all established, I don't think there's anybody here that has any doubts about the fact that the Garba is a religious festival. It's a religious observance. If that is the case, can Hindu groups who have decided to hold a Garba be made to accept pressure from groups such as you or others, rights activists, whatever, to enforce an inclusivity for all religious denominations? Can that be enforced? Because that's a very slippery slope. Tomorrow, people will cite morality and they will say that, look, in the spirit, in the essence, women of the Muslim faith must get an equal inheritance. They must also not be forced into being married off at a young age. They should be married only at 18, etc. Because that is what morality preaches, and anything else is Talibani. That could be said. I'm just saying. So, can there be anyone forced into being inclusive, typing up invites for everybody, and not restricting who they want to invite?
So, thank you for having me on the show. I'm going to give you two sets of answers. One is a religious answer, one is a legal answer. The religious answer first, and Rahul Ishwar knows I supported him when it came to Lord Ayyappa in the Sabrimala case, and I was completely backing him on that. First of all, stop stereotyping Muslims. Muslims are a very, 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 as Tanvi rightly said, diverse religion. It's extremely diverse. What's unfortunately happened in our country is there's a stereotyping of Muslims, and that's not true. My mom, who's a practicing Muslim, in her Jamaat Khana, in her mosque, there is Dandiya and Garba. During Diwali, there is lights put up. So please, and women can wear what they want in mosque, not just you may say one sect, in every sect. I'm talking about the Srinagar mosque. There is no stereotyping. So this stereotyping that a bunch of people who tend to do, and I'm saying this even from the Muslim side, to polarize this country, thereby helping a political party benefit, must stop. Muslims are a very diverse religion. So first, stop this homogeneity of Muslim religion. It's not homogeneous. It's a very hetero religion. Number two, as so far if there's a puja in a temple, then you have a right to only restrict who you want to come to that temple. That I will not get into. However, if the same Garba or Dandiya, as I've seen since my childhood, is happening at a public ground or at a club or at a leisure place, at the film city, for example, here downstairs, how do you stop people based on religion? You're simply not allowed to, because the Constitution of India does not allow you to. Third point to it. Now let's come to the legal part of it. The BJP spokesperson, the Bajrang Dal spokesperson said two very important things. He said people have fake identities. Either these fake identities are government identities, which would have been a driving license or a Aadhaar. How is the government giving people fake identities? If they are fake identities, and let me take his word for it, I am quoting Times of India, there is no FIR registered for somebody having a fake identity. So why are you doing vigilante justice?
No,
where is the FIR?
No, there's no time for vigilante justice. Exactly. So that's been. Let's come back to the main.
Why is there no FIR? Just
don't raise your voice. Tessin, 1 minute, please.
Now let's come to the fourth point.
I asked you a very simple question, and that question was: see, no one here is trying to typecast anybody. If anyone,
let me
finish, please.
Please allow me. When you say that Muslims don't allow music, you've not studied the religion. Music is essential, is very much a part of Islam.
One second. One second. There are a large number of Muslims.
And there are a large number of Hindus.
Precisely.
For example, the Hindu Mahasabha said recently women should not wear jeans. Does that mean Hindus are fundamentalists? They're not.
No,
they're very progressive people.
So that's what I'm trying to tell you. We are talking here about also exceptions. There may be many Garbas where the right to entry is not restricted, but there are some who are invoking that right to. Let me finish, please.
Sure.
No. Actually, I checked with a lawyer, and let me also bring in Namit Saxena, who's an advocate. Namit Saxena, if supposing, let's take a larger example here. If supposing you are deciding that you want to book a marriage hall which is on government land, maybe it is an MCD marriage hall, and you decide that I will only have X type of guests at my wedding, are you allowed to do so, Mr. Saxena, under the law, even though it's public land, technically? And
yes.
And
if it's a banquet hall,
and even if a Garba festivity is held on public land, so to speak, or a community hall, for instance, or even a stadium, can you impose restrictions on who attends?
Yes. See, whosoever organizes that function will have a right to regulate entry or exit. This is how the law. But see, let me put the facts in a very small perspective, and I'll apply law to it thereafter. See, the facts in this case at hand today are very simple. Community A organizes a religious function. This is not a pub or a disco. This is for that community only. Few members of some other community enter, your gates crash into that particular function. Few members of community A get hold of them. They say, please go out. They resist or whatever, they give fake identities, or they impersonate for themselves to be of that community A. They get hold of him and they gave it to the police to investigate thereafter. This is what has largely happened.
Why isn't
he didn't interrupt you, please. He didn't interrupt you. He's waited his turn. No, one second.
But an FIR should be filed on fake identity. That's
one
not
second.
filed. It's a lie.
Mr. Poonawala, please. I will allow you. We've all waited our turn. Please.
Because
one second, please. No, listen. You are always invoking your high station, your privilege. Don't do that, please. There are other people who are much more modest and humble, and let them have their say.
I'm as humble.
No, please. You're not. You're intolerant right now. You can ask that question.
It's a criminal offense.
You can raise your hand and ask that question. Is Rahul Ishwar jumping out of the frame? Is Ratan Sharda jumping out of the frame? Is Nair jumping out of the frame?
If we can answer that question first,
one second. Is Tanveer Ahmed?
Without that question being answered, everything is rhetoric.
Who are you to dictate the pace of this debate? Calm down. This is a very serious issue. Very serious issue, viewers. We can't have professional hecklers sitting and abusing their position. Yes, sir, you come from a very exalted, setup. It's fine. Let somebody else have their say. They don't enjoy those privileges. So let's not make it like that, please.
This is not about my privileges.
You are completely behaving like somebody who will jump in and speak whenever they want.
I'm just asking, where is the FIR?
I've stopped you 3 times, sir. You even bullied me. So don't do that.
Why would
please.
I bully
No, you have 3 times. Now, please. Let Namit Saxena finish.
Let me complete.
Yes.
Yes. Now there are serious allegations of one criminal trespass because this event was for people of community A. Second, there are serious allegations of impersonation. Third, there are serious allegations of inciting or instigating communal hatred. So this is something which is to be investigated thoroughly. Now, before we go to the Constitution under Article 21 or 25 or 26, see, these are basic criminal principles which are to be applied. See, if there is criminal trespass by any community, by any citizen of this country also, that needs to be investigated. See, law is to be applied equally to everyone. Now, on the other hand, if you see, if violence has been put on, people who actually entered and they were thrown out of, this religious function, then law will take its own course against those vigilantes also. See, but we can't, at this stage, preempt the investigation. The investigation has to go against, equally all of them. If they have trespassed a private function, a religious function, they have to be prosecuted. If they have impersonated, they have to be prosecuted. If they have, incited some communal hatred, they have to be prosecuted. On the other hand, if there is some extrajudicial power put on them, that has to be investigated also.
That is to be investigated. That hasn't happened in certain states and in certain cities. The police has been extremely lax. We'll, of course, be following all that up. We will be. And there are no excuses, as I said, viewers, for anyone taking the law into their own hands. I think Mr. Sharda has said we need to be restrained. Rahul Ishwar says we need to be restrained. Unfortunately, Mr. Nair got a bit carried away, but that's okay. Mr. Nair, I hope now you're cooler. You've realized perhaps that it's not right to advocate violence. And I hope at least you will agree in a civilized way that that is most important. Right? Even Mr. Saxena here, who represents the RSS in large number of cases, is saying we need to be restrained. Let's accept in the spirit of upholding the law that is a non-negotiable term. Now, I want to bring in Mr. Suhail. Mr. Suhail, this is a very important question I'm asking you. If temples can impose restrictions on entry, if churches can on dress codes, and other denominations, as I've told you, can impose restrictions, not on just entry, but dress codes and all other sort of means of ensuring that their places are not befouled, then why should Garba pandals be an exception? They're also an area where there is a certain amount of religion and other practices, rituals, etc. that are being observed.
Yeah, see, I want to say from when this right-wing radical organization start owning the Garba and the goddess Durga, I'm little surprised to see that. See, yeah, in Islam it's not allowed, but my question is that this for the boys who are there in the Garba, they went to do the idol worship or what? For what they have went there? They have went with a friend. See, we the India is like, we have the different culture and diversity we have. A lot of people, they celebrate Ramzan, they celebrate Eid. We never stop anyone to enter in the mosque. See, like it's a mixed culture we are living here in India. But now, see, this radical organization, they want to disturb the peace of India. See, it's a private affair, there should be a sign of it and there should be tickets. See, they sell the tickets, it's no free entry. They are not doing anything free. This Garba, where this event is organized, it's not for free. There should be clearly mentioned that it's a religious practice there, then there should be, and it's a private affair, then their right to restriction will be that it can be accepted. When it's in a public event, and see, if they are non-practicing people, they want to go with the friends and they want to sit over there, there's nothing wrong on it. We have a mixed culture, that's what I'm saying, but we should not make this cultural
if non-believers, okay, so there's nothing wrong in non-believers. Mr. Hassan, one second, Mr. Suhail, what you're saying is there's nothing wrong in non-believers going to a religious event. Okay, let's open that up also. That's an important point. He says a religious event, you may not believe in any of the religion, you may not believe in the puja, the goddess, etc., but you should be allowed to go. So let me ask you, Mr. Sohail, today, Mr. Hassan, who's a member of parliament from the Samajwadi Party, he said, why do Garba organizers make their daughters and sisters, why do they put them on a numesh? I hope you understand the meaning of that word. Numaish. Why do they put them on a numaish? So, do you first of all condemn this statement, Mr. Sohail?
I strongly condemn this shameful statement. I'm telling you now.
So
that
if there is
no place in Islam about this kind of statements, you know.
Okay. So if it is a numaish, then why should non-believers go to see a numaish? That's a legitimate question that will be asked.
See, that's their personal thing. It's their personal. So that's what it's their personal school of thought. It's their wish and will. Nobody can stop anyone. They say it's not the religious country. It's neither. The country runs on constitution. It doesn't run on the Bible, Bhagavad Gita, or any other religious book.
Okay.
The constitution has
Rahul
given
Ishwar,
right.
a non-believer
can stop
non-believer can enter.
And you know, even that's what. See.
Okay. Non-believer can enter Garba festivities. They should be allowed. What's the big deal? Rahul Ishwar, respond.
Rahul Shivsingh, there are two lines of thought in India generally. One, you know, even though who are not believers but who are respectful of all cultures can enter and assimilate well. That's a very good school of thought. I would totally endorse Tanveer ji. You know, when I come next to Bangalore, I would like to visit his mosque and I would like to know things that would be absolutely great. But second, there are some people who are very disrespectful. Nair ji, you know, point out something very important. There is a person called Mujahideen Balusheri in Kerala who compared temple, and I'm sorry to say this, who compared temple to a brothel. So this is absolutely horrible. He said, don't even give money to temple, and he equated it, saying something very horrible, which I cannot repeat on national television. So there are people like that. I hope people like Suhail or Tanveer Bhai will really take care of those people, condemn them, so that Hindus will have a confidence. Otherwise, when we see on television saying that your temple is like this or your idols are like that, when somebody is saying so, and when a person from that community is coming, there will be natural suspicion.
Okay.
And I totally endorse, just one line, I totally endorse Tahsin ji's point of view, saying that Islam and Hinduism both inside also is very diverse. One of our greatest singers is Muhammad Rafi. The person who made us sing Vande Mataram again is Allah Raka Rahman. So let us project and highlight this healthy diversity, and let us discourage the hard.
So in the same spirit of diversity, Tehseen Poonawalla, if there are some people who say that, look, this is a religious celebration, and therefore we have the right to allow entry to those who believe in the deity, what is wrong?
That's fine, but
that's fine.
No,
that's fine.
Allow me to, please allow me to speak. Now you asked me to. That's fine, but that entry. Can I please make my point?
60 seconds.
Can I just make my point? That's fine, but then that entry can not only exclude a religion. Then nobody but Hindus can be allowed.
Yeah, so they're saying.
Then you can't say a Christian will be allowed, a Parsi will be allowed, a Sikh will be allowed, but a Muslim will not be allowed.
But listen,
that is discrimination.
Hang on 1 second. There's no doubt about that. But just one very quickly.
Right.
So you agree that we should also not typecast. 1 minute, let me finish. That we should also not. No, see that question about public and private, etc., has been addressed. Whether it is on private or public land, you have the right, if it's a religious function, to determine who comes in. Okay, so that's a settled in law. I'll give you also the precedents. Let me quickly cite them. Kerala High Court rejected third-party bid calling for the entry of KJ Yesudas into a temple. Okay. Then procedure of conducting rituals. Now it's very important. Procedure of conducting rituals. Who should be there? What should be observed, etc., is in the exclusive preserve of those that are conducting those rituals. This is what Supreme Court has said in Sarika versus this committee, Shri Mahakaleshwar Mandir Committee case in 2018. So that's all settled. I'm only asking you. No, I'm only asking you. It doesn't matter, sir. Let me finish. Okay. Devastam might hire a public stadium, for example, and it's known to happen. to conduct certain rituals, etc., etc. So they have absolute right. That's been settled. So let's not go around in circles. I'm only asking you, is it wrong, therefore, to typecast? And that's why I want to bring in Sriraj Nair also. If Mr. Nair's group believes, I'm not endorsing calls to violence here, but if Mr. Nair's group believes that, listen, in certain pandals that maybe we organize or we run, we will only admit those who believe in the deity or in the rituals or accept the sanctity of the puja and respect and participate in it. Why should we typecast them as this or that?
Okay. So let me make a personal example. So say Mr. Nair is running a pandal and I'm an atheist.
Yeah.
I respect the puja and the Devi. How will he know I do it or no? Does he have some sort of a Nobel Prize?
That's not the answer.
No,
I'm
that's
only
the
talking
answer.
about, no, I'm only,
call for vigilantism.
That's not, that is, one second, sir. You are now talking about, one second, please. Please.
Okay. You finished
now you're talking about a different issue. You haven't answered my question. If supposing the VHP tomorrow says that in our pandals, Garba pandals, we are not going to open it out to any community.
Except Hindus.
Except for Hindus. Why should we say that they are some Taliban or hardliners? Simple question. They are only invoking, and since we are invoking diversity, differences, etc., then they should be free also to do what they want to do.
Well, if they want only Hindus to come and they don't want any other religion,
So
it's not a religion. That is completely their call and legally their call. I'm not disputing it.
Then you can't say that they are being Talibani.
Sir, allow me. You cannot. That's not victory. What you're seeing here is the spokespersons are saying that somebody came with fake government identity, yet no case has been registered, no complaint has been filed, except vigilantes,
that's a different debate, and we can have that debate about inaction.
That is where the debate has gone.
We can have that. No, it hasn't gone there. We stopped him, and he also backpedaled. But this business of typecasting people who want to invoke their religious beliefs to the last letter, viewers, is also wrong. Is also wrong. And that can't be accepted. Especially when there is no consensus. Of course, if there is consensus, as some people have said, in the matter of wearing hijab, for instance, choice, etc., then viewers, you can't invoke that in the Supreme Court. You can't say it should be left to our choice in the Supreme Court on the matter of hijab and other such religious particularities. But when it comes to Hindus, that doesn't apply to them. They should be opening up all their festivals, etc., to just about anyone, whenever, because that is the spirit of tolerance. We can't have it both ways, viewers. I leave it at that. This is a complicated issue, as I began by saying, viewers, and it's been complicated by violence which no one endorses. Let's move on, because we go to a very important story. In a major boost to India's Atmanirbhar attempt to be self-sufficient, today, viewers, the light combat attack chopper Prachand was finally formally inducted into the Indian Air Force in a ceremony at Jodhpur Air Base. The Defense Minister was in attendance. He even flew the craft, and he came out and said that it was very stable, extremely proficient, and that it has munitions and other features that make it a cutting-edge weapon system. The craft itself, this chopper, viewers, we've been waiting 22 long years for it to see the light of day, and today our dreams have taken flight. It is conditioned to fly at very high altitudes and armed with a range of missiles, cannons, etc., to take out enemy targets in areas which were previously inaccessible, like the Ladakh region, where India faces the threat of Chinese incursions, and of course, viewers, also in Kargil, the heights of Kargil, where Pakistan very conveniently chose to establish itself. The LCH is a dedicated combat helicopter. HAL claims that the LCH is the only attack helicopter in the world that can land and take off at an altitude of 5,000 meters with a considerable load of weapons and fuel. Let's get into a conversation with Mahroof Raza, perhaps the leading defense analyst in this country, group consulting editor of the Times Network, an authority on these subjects. Maruf Raza, my question tonight is a slightly larger one, going just beyond the features of this craft. I want to ask you a fundamental question. Can Desi Dam turn India into a force for global dominance also? So that's the second part. But the first part, quick rundown for our viewers on the features of this craft. Why should we all be sort of very happy that we have been able to now induct this? And then the second part of that question. Go ahead, please.
See, Rahul, some of the aspects of the helicopter and its capabilities you've just talked about. It was the Kargil conflict that got the debate going that we needed something like this. And coincidentally, let me give you an anecdote from history. Not only were the Indian Army and the Air Force initially not quite on the same page on what kind of air power to use when the Pakistani intrusions became public, but also the Pakistani Air Force, when it was brought in by Musharraf into the whole narrative, raised its hands and said, we don't have the capabilities to provide you the kind of air support that you would need in a conflict at those heights. Our Air Force eventually joined battle, did exceptionally well, but there was a problem. And the problem is that when Air Force fighters move, they move at anything from twice the speed of sound or even faster. It's very difficult at that height and at that speed to identify which is your bunker, which is the enemy-held bunker or Sangar or whatever. And especially when the line of control is marked out meticulously on maps, but the maps are very difficult to correlate with the ground when you have multiple ranges, one after another. Which range is the one where the LC is? And Vajpayee ji had made it clear that don't cross the LOC. Now, this kind of a helicopter changes the narrative. And it took a while, but let me tell you, to produce any state-of-the-art military system, it takes you about 15 years. So we haven't done badly. And I think the DRDO and HAL combined have really done us proud because they produced world-class system. They produced something which really in its category as a light combat aircraft, which is twice the weight level of a Cheetah Chetak, which used to operate in Siachen and all those heights, and which has become so old and the body's become so brittle that a large gush of wind would break off a part of the body of these helicopters. So we were really fighting against weather and the enemy. Here, you've got first-class systems. You've got systems which are designed to continue to be upgraded for 3 to 4 decades. And that is an essential for any military equipment that you buy, that it should last out for about 4 decades. All the older systems that we have from Sukhoi, I mean, MiG-21 is a story by itself, but Sukhoi and other aircrafts like Mirage, etc., they've all lasted more than 4 decades. So that's the first thing. The second thing is this can operate in all weather conditions, all terrain conditions. And that is very much a requirement of India because we have 16 of the 18 weather conditions, terrain conditions in the world, climatic conditions. So therefore, you know, in cold weather, ammunition drops from its given height to hit a target. And in hot weather, it bounces up. So it has to have that kind of capability for the pilot at that speed to be able to decide how much elevation I should give to my ammunition or not. It's got rocket, it's got missiles, it's got machine guns. It can knock off light combat vehicles like armored vehicles that are there as part of mechanized formations. It has also got the Matra magic missile, which can knock off a tank. So these are basically flying tanks. And on an average, I remember doing a study long, long ago, that on an average, such attack helicopters can knock off a squadron of tanks, which is about 14, 15 tanks. And that's a lot of tanks to lose. It alters the course of the battle. Okay. And the last and most important thing, Rahul, the last most important thing is that this platform is already received clearance from the MOD to be exported to countries in Southeast Asia like Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, and wonderful. Countries in Africa, that is Angola, Egypt, etc. So India is really looking at coming of age with a weapon system like this.
Okay, lastly, and I only have 30 seconds, Desi Dam for global dominance. Are we on our way? Vikrant, Prachand, and several other weapon systems now.
Sorry, I didn't get your question. Can you please repeat?
Desi Dam for global dominance. Are we on our way?
Yeah, well, if I'm understanding what you're saying, that some of the stuff that has come in from France makes up the equipment, but that is the story with almost everything that we claim is indigenously manufactured. It's only something like the world-class Bharat forged ATACS artillery gun, which has more than 90% components made in India. Otherwise, almost always, it is 40-50% our stuff versus items that you build in. Even the Sukhoi, which is the mainstay of the Air Force, is called Sukhoi 30 MKI. That means manufactured, configured for India. So that means it has a lot of other variants other than Russian equipment, like Israeli systems, French systems, and various other things that are brought in to make it so completely useful for our environment, our operational conditions.
Right.
And the thing that we need to understand, that considering the tensions that prevail on the LAC with the Chinese, and Pakistan is trying every which way to try and get back into a Kargil mode, something like this is going to be a game changer.
Well, viewers, you couldn't have heard it from a better authority, more informed authority than Maruf Raza. Thank you very much, Maruf, for putting this into perspective for our viewers. We leave it at that, viewers. The news are.
For decision makers, for the opinionated, for the unsure, for dinner time debaters, from metro stations to living rooms.
We present the facts and help India make a judgment. From stories that shake the nation to opinions that shape them. I delve deep into the biggest news of the day and uncover every fact, every source, and every statement through debate and discussion. Get a 360-degree perspective on every story and get a conclusive closure. Join me, Navika Kumar, on the Newshour at 9, only on Times Now.
The first batch of indigenous light combat helicopters Prachand inducted into Indian Air Force. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh takes a sortie, congratulates IAF and Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Another showdown over Congress's Bharat Jodo Yatra as Rahul Gandhi's image surfaces on Karnataka flag. BJP slams the Congress sign, asks why party hates Kannadigas. 14 non-Hindu booked so far for attending Garba festivities. Politicians back segregation, say nothing wrong with allowing only Hindus to celebrations.
Good evening and welcome to the Newshour. I'm Madhav Gopalakrishnan. Ladies and gentlemen, over the last few days, incidents of assault and violence on non-Hindus have marred the Navratri festivities in the states of Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. Now, the Bajrang Dal has refused to let non-Hindus enter Garba pandals, even displaying posters outside pandals that read, "Non-Hindus are not allowed to enter." On your TV screens are visuals from Ujjain and Indore where non-Hindu men have been slapped, beaten up and handed over to the police for either entering pandals with fake ID cards or for filming Garba. In some cases, they were beaten black and blue just for their faith. In MP's Indore, another case of vigilantism has been reported. The Bajrang Dal workers beat up two non-Hindu men after they allegedly tried to enter the Garba event and record videos. These men were slapped, thrashed by the Bajrang Dal even. Listen in. Now, this vigilantism by the Bajrang Dal has the full backing of some politicians, from BJP MP Pragya Thakur to MP Minister Narottam Mishra to BJP General Secretary Kailash Vijayvargiya. Netas continue to justify this segregation.
और मैं कहती हूँ आइडेंटिटी चेक भी किया जाए और मुस्लिम समुदाय के लोगों को वहाँ पर जाने ना दिया जाए। हम हमारी पूजा पद्धति को शुद्ध रखना चाहते हैं, करना चाहते हैं।
मैंने उस समय प्रार्थना भी कर ली थी कि माँ की आराधना करना है तो कोई भी धर्म के लोग कर सकते हैं, अलग से करें।
देखिए, बहुत ज़रूरी है ये सब चीज़ें, और यदि असामाजिक तत्व आकर वहाँ का वातावरण, धार्मिक वातावरण को अगर गंदा करते हैं तो मैं समझता हूँ इसके लिए आयोजकों को उसकी चिंता करना चाहिए।
लव जिहाद एक बड़ी मुसीबत था राष्ट्र की, इसीलिए तो उस पर कानून हमें बनाना पड़ा। हम लोगों ने ये आग्रह किया है कि किसी भी गरबा पंडाल में बिना आईडी के किसी को प्रवेश नहीं मिले, और कोई दूसरे लोग भी आना चाहते हैं तो वो अपनी पत्नी, माँ, बेटी इनको साथ लेकर आए।
Now, the opposition has questioned the policing at Garba pandals and said that there could be no justification for violence. Listen in.
देखिए, मैं तो मुस्लिम युवकों से यही कहूँगा कि उनको जाना नहीं चाहिए। जाते क्यों हैं? गरबा के आयोजनों के अंदर 60 राजदूतों को क्यों बुलाया गया? वो भी तो अलग अलग मजहबों के लोग थे। वो हम अपनी बहन बेटियों की नुमाइश क्यों उनके सामने करते हैं? हमें इस पे एतराज है।
ये इंटॉलरेंस का बात नहीं है, सबसे बड़ा बात है वो लोग हिंदू राष्ट्र बनाने की कोशिश है। ये एक साजिश है वो लोग का, ये इलेक्शन जीतने का एक साजिश है।
Now, this vigilantism has not only been reported from Madhya Pradesh, but also videos of assault on non-Hindu men have come to light from Maharashtra and Gujarat. Let's take a look at similar incidents that have been reported from these states.
ये दो जिहादियों पकड़े गए हैं। इधर देख, इधर देख। ये दो जिहादी, ये मोमेडियन है, गरबे में आए भी हैं ये। अरे इसको भी भेजो क्या? इन लोगों को भी भेजो भाई। ये भेज रहे। अरे भेजो इसको, खाने भेजो। जो पुलिस आ रहा था वो बोल रहा था उनको खाने जाने दो। अंदर बिठो। भाग्यो के गरबा जो है वो तो हमारी माँ ने जो है वो तो बाय 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 बाय।
And that brings us to the legitimate question that we're asking tonight. Why embolden the vigilantes, and are these restrictions on entry in this manner justified?
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
More on this, let's go across to our guest. Joining us live is Vinod Bansal, spokesperson of the VHP. Deshratan Nigam is a lawyer. Joining us also with us is Binay Singh, political analyst. We also have with us Professor Atikur Rahman, political analyst. Sanjay Jha is with us. He's an author. Also with us is Said Aslam Pasha, who's a spokesperson of the JDS. Let me begin first and foremost by asking Mr. Vinod Bansal. Vinod Bansal ji, you know, there are different videos and there are different reasons. In some places there have been fake IDs being given, some places there are videos being taken, some places even that's not happened. While checking IDs, people have been found to be of a certain faith and they've been beaten up. What in your view justifies, and can anyone justify, people taking law into their own hands? If you feel that someone has done an illegal act, if any individual finds so, surely the thing that one has to do is hand them over to the police and not take law into their own hands, like we're seeing in these pictures, sir.
Definitely, I do agree with you. The question is that कि आखिरकार किसने लॉ को ब्रेक किया, किसने वहाँ के नियम को ब्रेक किया? ये कोई प्रोग्राम था, कोई जनरल पब्लिक का प्रोग्राम तो नहीं था, कोई जो अपने गरबा के कार्यक्रम हैं कोई गवर्नमेंट तो ऑर्गेनाइज नहीं करती, कोई सड़क पे तो नहीं होता. आप देखिए कि एक प्योरली रिलीजियस प्रोग्राम है, माँ दुर्गा की शक्ति की आराधना का कार्यक्रम है, और जो लोग उस शक्ति की आराधना में बिलीव ही नहीं करते, जो माँ दुर्गा भगवती के सामने नतमस्तक ही नहीं हो सकते, तो वो उसकी इंटेंशन के साथ जाते हैं. एवरीबडी नोज इट. आपके व्यूअर्स भी जानते हैं अच्छी तरह से कि जो लोग जो माँ दुर्गा के बारे में ही नहीं जानते या माँ दुर्गा को अनाप शनाप बोलते हैं, वो लोग अगर गरबा में जाएंगे तो आखिरकार क्या करेंगे वो, आप देखिएगा. और इसके अलावा अगर आप ब्रॉडर पर्सपेक्टिव भी देखेंगे तो देश भर के अंदर कई सारे, अभी हैदराबाद में भी कई आतंकवादी पकड़े गए हैं. आप देखिए कि पूरे ग्लोबली किस तरह का पर्सपेक्टिव बनाया जा रहा है कि जो लोग थूक लगा करके और लैट्रिन पेशाब करके हमें अपने भोजन
Sir, I don't want to bring that in. Vinodji, please, let's restrict this debate to Garba. My request to you, Vinodji, tonight is let's restrict this to Garba, because this is a very, very serious issue. And we have seen incidents of violence take place, not in any one state, but multiple states and multiple incidents coming to light. The question that I am asking is this, that if, you know, the politicians, including home ministers of certain states, feel that, you know, this is an issue that requires the law and order machinery's intervention, then why is it that in several states FIRs have still not been filed despite the individuals being handed over to the police? And what about vigilantes? Should action not be taken on such vigilantes, sir? Because they are also in clear violation of the law.
नो, क्वेश्चन ये है कि आखिरकार जो लोग उसमें घुसे थे वो किस इंटेंशन से घुसे थे. और दूसरी बात ये है कि जब उन्होंने रोका तो वो रुके क्यों नहीं? आयोजकों ने हम कोई अपने आप नहीं गए. बजरंग दल हैज नेवर गॉन टू सुओमोटो. क्वेश्चन ये है कि जो आयोजक थे उन्होंने फोन किया हमें, कभी ये लोग घुस आए हैं, इनको रोकना पड़ेगा.
ओके.
अब आप देखिए कि जब बजरंग दल जाएगा तो क्या करेगा भाई, उसको उठा करके बाहर ही तो करेगा. आराम से उनको बोला कि आप चले जाइए, लेकिन नहीं, उनको तो मजा आता है.
थोड़ा सा फर्क ये है, मैं सिर्फ एक छोटी सी डिफरेंशिएशन लाना चाहूंगा विनोद बंसल जी. रोकना और मारना, इन दोनों में अंतर हम सब जानते हैं और इन विजुअल्स में मारते हुए दिख रहे हैं. बट लेट मी क्विकली ब्रिंग इन फैक्ट प्रोफेसर अतीकुर रहमान. Professor Atikur Rahman, while in fact Mr. Vinod Bansal also started off saying that this violence cannot be justified, the question that he is posing is that what is the intention with which these individuals are going to these pandals? Because in some cases, at least in some cases, people have been caught with fake IDs, giving wrong information about their identity, in some cases even filming, and he says that this is in fact also indication of the mindset with which they are entering these locations. How do you respond to him, Professor Atikur Rahman?
Well, Madhav, this intention needs to be highlighted. All Gujaratis celebrate Garba and this festival as a cultural event. I have not seen any Gujarati Muslim wedding complete without the Garba event, despite some of the ulamas taking exception that Garba is not the Muslim culture. All Gujarati Muslim weddings do have a Garba celebration within their celebrations of the weddings. So why to look at the Garba, this thing, only with a religious favor? No, the Gujaratis, be it Hindus or Muslims, They celebrate as a cultural event, point number one. Point number two is, Madhav, look at the people who are opposing the Muslim presence. They are the known day in and day out, every evening, including Pragya Singh Thakur, they are Islamophobes. And Pragya Singh Thakur has exposed herself. It is culpability of her committing a bomb blast when she said that Muslims should be excluded from the Garba events. She is exposing herself
what type of logic
by spreading venom against a particular
the point is,
if it is a cultural event,
let me come back.
Cultural event, why don't you organize it in a Muslim-dominated areas?
No, but that's okay. Respond to that.
It is being organized.
Why the Muslim women are not coming into the Garbas? कहाँ पर बताइए ना? आप बताइए ना कहाँ पर आपने ऑर्गेनाइज किया? मुस्लिम बाहुल एरिया में किसी मुसलमान ने ऑर्गेनाइज किया क्या? बताइए.
अरे हर जगह किया है. अरे आपको बताइए क्या आपने ठेका लेके रखा है क्या?
अरे गरबा नहीं, ये डांस है. देखिए डांस में गरबा में बड़ा अंतर होता है.
Okay, let's not get into a shouting match, please. I'm requesting both of you to calm down. There are two very important points that are being debated over here. एक एक करके debate करेंगे, please, because others have not yet spoken. Atikur Rahman, pointed question Vinod Bansal is asking you is that why is it that there are only Muslim men entering Garba events? Why don't entire families? If the intentions are pure, then surely you can enter with the entire family coming in. Why is that not being seen? Is his question. Please respond to that specific point.
I invite him in Mumbai. In Mumbai, all religious communities are celebrating without any
जितने लोग पकड़े गए हैं वो सारे के सारे अकेले थे.
Are within their right to check their identity. अरे मुझे कंप्लीट करने दो. आप अपनी गंदी नाक को जरा दूर रखिए विनोद बंसल जी.
नहीं, बट बंसल साहब देखिए,
के अंदर मैं आपको इनवाइट करता हूं. आज
मैं एक सेकंड आई थिंक वन लास्ट क्वेश्चन मिस्टर बंसल,
किस तरह की भाषा का प्रयोग कर रहे हैं?
वन सेकंड मिस्टर बंसल,
आपकी संस्कृति है.
मिस्टर बंसल, लेट मी आस्क यू अनदर क्वेश्चन सर.
इज इट अ कल्चर टू डिबेट दिस वे?
जिहादी भाषा का इस्तेमाल करना.
एक सेकंड प्लीज लेट्स नॉट गेट इनटू अ पर्सनल डिस्कशन. नो, आई एम गोइंग टू लोअर ऑल faders as you say. I am going to lower no personal comments. Both the faders go down, and let me take the question to other panelists with us. You know, the other question that comes in Desh Ratan Nigam is this. And there are certain states in this country, you know, culture is a very composite thing. It has different complicated roots, just as this debate is extremely complicated. The fact is that what is the culture of a particular state, you know, cannot be defined by any one group. For instance, I come from the state of Kerala, where there are certain festivals celebrated that have the roots in the legend of Mahabali and Vaman, and they are celebrated by all, irrespective of religion. So if Mr. Atikur Rahman says that yes, it may have religious roots, but today it is part of a larger culture where other religions also observe it, doesn't he have a valid point, sir?
Madhav, let us be very clear about certain undisputed and admitted facts. This Navratri that we celebrate in various forms, where there is a worship of Ma Durga, Shakti in 9 different forms. It is idol worship, and Garba is worshipping of a womb. It has a very specific connotation, and therefore there are certain religious freedom of religion that is available to Hindu community under Article 25 and Article 26. And under Article 25, I have a complete freedom of religion to express the way we Hindus want to, and to manage our religious affairs as given in Article 26 of the Constitution of India. And therefore, someone who does not believe in the ethos of idol worship, who desecrates our temples, who, there is a whole civilizational history to breaking temples and idols and shivlings and everything. We are within our rights to bar somebody from entering into a Hindu festival. We are not interfering with the religion of Muslims. We are not interfering in the religions of Christians. We are only expressing our freedom of religion in our own religious sphere. Secondly, this is a private festival, private event, where right to admissions can be reserved. Nobody can question that. It is not a government function. That right to admission is reserved. It can be done, and that is, we are not discriminating. Please remember, it is open for Hindus, irrespective of any caste. It is perfect.
But Deshdatan Nigam, you're a lawyer. Let me ask you a counter question to the very point that you're making right now about within a private sphere. What if the event is organized in a public space, such as a community hall or a park? What happens? Do the same private rules still apply there?
Yes,
because this can be a common ground.
No, that does not give it a public nature. Please understand, it's a private trust which is organizing, private people which are organizing. It is a Hindu religious festival. Please understand. Okay. Why don't you establish a murti inside a masjid and do Garba inside a masjid?
Okay.
We are not forcing you. We are not forcing you.
Okay.
We are not saying that
Pasha
you do
wants
it.
to respond to that point. Yes, Syed Aslam Pasha. Quick response from you.
Mother, first of all, I want to tell Deshdatan Nigamji, first of all, sir, India is a beautiful nation with composite culture. We are a heterogeneous blend of multiple caste, religion, and cultures, right? So we are celebrating Navratri with grandeur and pomposity after 2 years of muted celebration. This is the time to spread cheer, happiness, peace, and brotherhood, right? India has always been celebrating festivals irrespective of the religion from more than centuries. There is absolutely no reason to create the hate mongers who are trying to destroy the social fabric of
Madhav, I need to respond.
Has to be absolutely, they're trying to destroy the social fabric of a nation. We have been living with peace and brotherhood for ages now. We have been celebrating these festivals for centuries. These festivals, Navratri, it's a festival to destroy the evil.
Okay.
It is the festival to destroy the evil. And these hate mongers are trying to destroy the social fabric of a nation. India,
that's a fair question.
Let us not forget, it's a heterogeneous.
I'm going to allow that question because Deshdatan Nigam,
Mr.
Aslam Pasha got your point. Let me put that question in a slightly different manner to Mr. Deshdatan Nigam. Mr. Deshdatan Nigam, ultimately, festivals anywhere in India are meant to bring people together. Sure, everyone has a right to worship, everyone has a right to celebrate the festivals they want to, but festivals are a time where, irrespective of religion, people come together. In a housing society or in any other part of the country, you see people of different faiths, different regions, different languages, different cultures coming together at the time of festivals. If our festivals are not meant to unite, then what is? Because here what you will end up having is that everyone living in these complete silos and ghettos. Is that what we want for our Indian multicultural society?
Madhav, secularism in culture and religion is not a one-way street. All the burden should be on Hindus and all privileges should be of Muslims. Why don't they allow us to establish an idols of shivling inside their own masjid and we'll celebrate inside? I am saying do not call a religious festival a cultural festival because we have a religion and culture intertwined in our culture in India. It is unlike Muslims, and therefore, if you allow us, it cannot be a one-way street. However, we have our, please don't interrupt, I did not interrupt between you. Therefore, this is our freedom of religion, and it is our exclusive right to permit somebody or not. Somebody who does not believe in our idol worship, who calls us a kafir, whose scriptures are, spreading hate against kafirs, then you expect us to allow them, and especially when people are masking their identity, fake identities. What is their intention?
Okay.
Even if they had no intention, somebody who calls us a kafir, and therefore we have exclusive right to admission is reserved. That is a private event, and even if it is a government event, let me tell you, the Constitution, even then, Article 25 and 26 permits us absolute right to, exert and exercise our rights, which are given as a Hindu.
Syed Aslam Pasha, on the point of constitutional right, we remember when the hijab debate was raging, the argument made by many, from Mr. Owaisi to Priyanka Gandhi, was that there is a freedom of religion, a right to practice one's religion. So does that right not apply in this case? Would you argue that?
It definitely applies, but I just want to tell our senior friend, Mr. Nigamji, sir, this is the culture. Garba is celebrated to bring in cheer, happiness, peace and love. It is not a religious event. It is celebrated across the country. It is celebrated across the country with grandeur and pomposity. I have personally attended Garba for God knows how many years, be it in Bangalore or Mumbai. I have personally been a part of Garba. Why are you calling this as a religious event? This is a cultural event which has been going on from centuries.
Okay.
This has been going on for more than centuries. It is the hate
Sir, allow
monger,
me
the right-wing
to establish the
organizations.
Ma Durga
Sir, allow
Murti
me
in a
to finish.
masjid.
Okay, let's not repeatedly get into this
organization.
argument of establishing one religion and others place of worship. Mr. Deshratna Nigam, let's not get down to that kind of a debate for the moment, please. Let's quickly stick to the facts in this case, and I want to quickly bring in Binay Singh on this, because Binay Singh, you know, there is one question that some have pointed out, that when it came to TMC MP Nusrat Jahan, you know, and when she was criticized for performing Durga Puja, BJP was very quick to in fact jump in and support her constitutional right to worship. What has changed now when it comes to Durga Puja, when it comes to Navratri and Garba?
Madhav, I think it's not a case of Hindu or Muslim entering Hindu festival or Hindus going to Muslim festivals. It is a case of masking your identity. So if suppose I am a Hindu and if I enter a temple masking my identity, that means that doubts my intention. I have something hidden intention. So why to mask your identity? And again, the second point, why to go somewhere where you are not welcome or where you are not supposed to be? So masking your identity, I think this is the main issue. And if you don't mask your identity, you say that I am a Muslim and this is my identity. And if the group permits
But can that justify the violence, sir? Can that justify these scenes of people being beaten up, Binay Singh? Come on, surely we cannot justify this kind of violence. If people mask their identity, hand them over to the police. In some cases, that has also happened peacefully. But why this is so shocking is that people are randomly beating up others.
Madhav, we have seen instances of chopping, you know, heads. But again,
come on. Let's not justify one act of violence with another. Mr. Binay Singh, please. I think you're doing a great disservice.
That creates doubt.
I cannot accept that line of argument. Please. You're actually saying that we're beating up people because others are chopping the necks off. Come on. Mr. Binay Singh, please withdraw that statement, because I think that is not expected from a mature and responsible person like you. No, but then please don't make this kind of ridiculous argument on national television that chopping of heads justifies this.
It creates serious doubts about your intention.
Sir, any act of violence is wrong. It does not mean that one act of violence can justify another. Please, I seriously object to this line of argument, and I want to bring in Sanjay Jha on this. Sanjay Jha, this is the problem. This is the problem today, because, you know, this whataboutery and the cycle of violence will only be spurred on if we today come on television and say and refer to other acts of violence, saying that this is justified perhaps in context of Jat. You know, this is a very, very, very slippery slope, unfortunately. But the larger point that we're discussing also is on whether issues of such entry, as far as such public events such as Garba are concerned, whether these restrictions are valid or not. Sanjay Jha.
Madhav, first and foremost, I think you are very privileged to come from God's own country. And I think some eminent gentlemen on your program, who I think have been very unambiguous in spewing venom, I wish they spent some time in Kerala to understand how people live together, how they celebrate religious festivals, how they don't quote constitution, and that too in a wrong and a distorted fashion, how people celebrate oneness. I think Mr. Deshratna Nigam and some other gentlemen need to go to Kerala and spend a couple of months to actually educate themselves as to what the idea of India as envisaged by Mahatma Gandhi and the other great freedom fighters was all about. Simple answer to you, to you, Madhav. You know, end of day, I live in Mumbai. I love my city. And I can tell you that when there is a Ramzan or any festival, and I go with many of my friends and family to Muhammad Ali Road, we are not asked to produce our identity cards. We celebrate together, we eat whatever we do, that you are welcome. And this is the culture of our great country. By the way, let me tell you something very personal. My wife happens to be a half Gujarati, and I have attended Garba festivals since the time we got married to each other. And there have been people from all communities who have come together to enjoy it. Why is this sudden narrative emerging after 2014? And there is a simple answer. Because Mr. Deshratna Nigam and Mr. Bansal and other people believe that they have appropriated Hinduism. I am a very proud Hindu, Sirji. And I don't need the RSS and the Bajrang Dal and the Vishwa Hindu Parishad to teach me what my great ecumenical tolerant religion is. They are giving our great religion, and unfortunately, a very, very ugly, violent manifestation.
Right.
This is not the true Hinduism.
Okay.
Which is why, Madhav, we have very often said that they are not practicing Hinduism. They are practicing Hindutva, which is actually now a political element for mobilizing votes. The average Hindu is a tolerant Indian, is a very peace-loving, he loves his brotherhood, there is a fraternity, and I think there is no intolerance and hate. But you'll find the great eminent people on your channel who are only pontificating nothing but distrust, suspicion and hate. You want to make the minorities feel like the other.
Yeah, that question was addressed to Deshratan Nigam. I'm going to give him a chance to respond. But Deshratan, I just want to very quickly read out what the Madras High Court has said on the issue of a person. Gentlemen, please, I'm going to come to each of you one by one.
Madhav, can I intervene?
1 second, please. Please, allow me to conduct this debate. I'm going to put a question across to Deshratan Nigam. And Deshratan Nigam, one simple question that I'm going to read out. This is the Madras High Court, and this is on the 8th of July 2022. Please listen to what they have said. They have said on the issue of a person belonging to another religion cannot be prevented from entering a temple if he has faith in that Hindu deity. He has also said specifically on the, and I'm quoting these two sentences, so please bear with me. When a public festival like Kumbhabhishekam of a temple is performed, it will be impossible for authorities to check the religious identity of every devotee for the purpose of permitting his entry into temple. That apart, if a person belonging to another religion has faith in a particular Hindu deity, that cannot be prevented, nor can his entry into a temple be prohibited. It is common knowledge that devotional songs of K.J. Yeshudas, a Christian by birth, rendered on various Hindu gods, are played without any demur in temples. In fact, in Nagore Dargah and Velankani church, scores of Hindus worship. So if a High Court has ruled that you cannot restrict entry if a person has faith, then certainly isn't this action beyond what the High Court has already put out in this judgment?
Let me answer that. The judgment has yet not gone to Supreme Court because probably it was not challenged. It's a bad law. It is encroachment on my freedom of religion. Absolute encroachment of my freedom of religion and how I should manage my religious places. Nobody can tell me that I should allow this person or that person. Believe me, if a temple, and like Jagannath Puri temple, please Sanjay Jha, you've quoted me so many times, but give me a privilege to answer you. Jagannath Puri does not allow non-Hindus.
Doesn't suit you as bad law.
It has been upheld, and it has been upheld. Jagannath Puri temple, where non-Hindus are not allowed, it has been upheld finally by the Supreme Court. I believe if somebody challenges this, it will be decided in accordance to the previously decided judgments of the Supreme Court, because the way Muslims manage their own affairs, the mosque or whatever religious institutions they have, similarly Hindus also have maybe not the same rights, because Muslims have more rights in the constitution, but it allows our freedom under Article 26 to exercise our rights which are given in our constitution, absolute freedom to maintain that. And we can do that. It has been decided by Supreme Court in plethora of judgments. Therefore, this judgment stands out. No doubt it stands out, but it's subject to challenge, and it's a bad law which has been laid down.
Right. Quick response from Sanjay Jha. Yes.
Madhav, let's bite the bullet here. We are, I think, all adult, civilized people, and I'm very glad that you're holding this program. It's a sensitive issue that must be debated publicly. The truth is that you're witnessing a religious polarization. Raising the communal temperature suits certain political parties, we all know that. But there is also the hypocrisy that Mr. Deshratan Nigam is part of. And I know Mr. Nigam, he's a good friend, but I need to call him out. You have a situation where Mohan Bhagwat will apparently reach out to the Muslim community. And here you have many other members of the same Sangh Parivar singing a very different tune. So this is the normal BJP and the RSS double speak. They will speak one thing in the morning, something else in the night, keep everybody confused and say, you know what, we are actually so secular, we really want a cohesive India, when in fact they're doing nothing but making us weaker as a society by dividing us. And this is the British-inspired divide and rule of the RSS and the BJP. It's unfortunate, and I think we should all be ashamed that in India that we are all so proud of, these are the issues we are, reduced to discuss.
But I want to also bring in Professor Atikur Rahman on one point.
Madhav, give me 10 seconds.
Okay, quick response, please. Quick response.
See, the fact is, reaching out to a particular community does not mean that we should, allow somebody to tamper with the freedom of religion. That is absolute. And secularism is fine, but sham secularism cannot be allowed to. It cannot be only on the burden of Hindus to carry the torch of secularism.
Okay.
That is what is happening. That is what Sanjay Jha is propagating.
Okay.
He allows the other side to get away, but he targets Hindus.
Okay. Quick response. Now, let me quickly bring in one other political aspect of this debate. Atikur Rahman, I want to ask you this. Today we saw a member of parliament of the Samajwadi Party, Mr. S.T. Hassan, come out and make a bizarre statement. He says that Garba, and he is objecting to, by the way, the fact that diplomats have brought in, something that perhaps if our Indian culture is being showcased, anyone would be proud of it. But he says कि ये हम अपने घर के महिलाओं की नुमाइश क्यों रख रहे हैं foreigners के सामने? This is absolutely bizarre, because this displays a kind of mentality and a very, very serious, seriously objectionable mentality of that. Is Garba to be called a नुमाइश?
Madhav, this is not only patriarchal, I would say this is full of misogyny. And politicians are not to, known to do this. I want to raise a very important, point which Mr. Vinay Singh pointed out, that masking of the Muslims is objectionable to him. But here the Islamophobes like Vinod Bansal ji, he is objecting to presence of the Muslims, whether masking or not. With an identity with Vinod Bansal ji, you are allowing the Muslims. There, the Pragya Singh Thakur, she is saying they should be fully stopped from entering the Garba event. So settle the question first, whether masking is objectionable and with a full identity if the Muslims are permitted or not. The problem will be solved, Madhav.
No, they are actually saying that it's a private religious event and that's why they're not allowing. One by one, I'm going to come to both of you. Vinay Singh first.
Madhav, look, I believe in diversity of this country and I respect that. I also participate in many festivals of Muslims. I have many Muslim friends and I love the sevais of Eid. So, but again, masking is the issue and you just ask that I am supporting violence. No. Madhav, if anybody masks his identity, either he is Muslim or Hindu or anyone, anybody if he masks his identity and that thing is disclosed, it will create a ruckus. It will create a law and order issue. That is what I am saying. Why you need to mask your
identity? The Muslims can enter the Garba event.
And again, the second, and one more thing, Adipurush, you must be welcome. Yes. You must be welcome. If no, just a minute, Adipurush. If I go to any of my Muslim friends on any festival, I am welcomed there.
Okay.
So why to mask your identity and you are going somewhere where you are not welcome? So this will create a law and order situation, and that is what has happened.
Now, Vinod Bansal ji, you need to answer. If a full identity is being disclosed by a Muslim, can he enter the Garba event?
Okay. Let me bring in Vinod Bansal. Vinod Bansal, direct question to you. Please answer.
Thank you very much for allowing me after so many attacks on Hindu community actually. सबसे पहले तो ये बता दूं कि देखिए, आपने तो एक प्रश्न किया था कि अगर कोई पब्लिक प्लेसेस पे कोई इवेंट होता है तो कोई भी जा सकता है. नहीं, आपके घर में अगर शादी है तो पब्लिक प्लेस पे ही करोगे ना. मैं अगर फोर्सफुली एंटर करके कहूंगा नहीं मैं तो खाना खा के ही आऊंगा आपके पास, इट इज नॉट नाइदर लीगल नॉर एथिकल. नंबर वन. नंबर टू इज दैट आपने कहा कि भाई ये वायलेंस क्यों हो रहा है. आखिरकार पुलिस को भी तो दे सकते थे आप. मैं आपको बता देता हूं कि अगर मेरे घर में कोई जबरदस्ती घुसाता है, मेरे आ रहा हूं, मुझे जरा मौका दीजिए. मैं इसमें कम्युनिटी में अभी माइनॉरिटी में हूं. कृपया मुझे बोलने का अवसर दें. हाँ, मैं
जवाब जरूर देना
देंगे सर.
मैं बड़ा टू द पॉइंट बात करने वाला हूं. देखिए माधव जी, मैं टू द पॉइंट बात कर रहा हूं.
जी बोलिए.
देखिए, मैं कह रहा हूं कि अगर कोई मेरे घर में घुस के आएगा, अगर मैं उसको भगा पा रहा हूं, उसको मना कर रहा हूं, उसके बावजूद भी जबरदस्ती कर रहा है, उसके बाद में अगर वो मेरे से नहीं घुस पा रहा, मैं नहीं रोक पा रहा हूं, तो मैं पड़ोसी को बुलाऊंगा. डेफिनेटली पड़ोसी उठा करके उसको बाहर करेंगे, और बाहर करने में अगर मान लो नहीं मानता तो 2-4 रैपेटे भी मारने पड़ेंगे. तब तक मैं पुलिस का इंतजार नहीं करूंगा. इससे पहले कि वो कुछ नुकसान करे मेरा, मैं उसमें दो तमाचे जरूर मारूंगा. सुनिए.
नहीं, अगर कोई वायलेंस में एंगेज कर रहा है, सेल्फ डिफेंस कैन बी अ लीगल आर्गुमेंट सर. हाउ कैन दिस वायलेंस बी, हाउ कैन दिस काइंड ऑफ वायलेंस बी जस्टिफाइड? प्लीज, you have every right to protect people or restrict, or you may have a right to restrict the entry. In fact, even that is being debated, whether you have that right or not. But certainly law and order being taken into your own hands, unless they are engaging in violent behavior, need to be restrained. How can this kind of beating up be justified, sir? कैसे आप justify कर सकते हैं?
कृपया मुझे बोलने का अवसर दें. माधव जी, मुझे बार-बार इंटरवीन किया जा रहा है आपके द्वारा भी और आपके पैनलिस्ट द्वारा भी। मैं टू द पॉइंट आंसर दे रहा हूं।
सर, वायलेंस को अगर आप जस्टिफाई करेंगे तो बिल्कुल इंटरवेंशन होगी। Nobody can justify violence. All the panelists have roundly criticized. You also started the debate roundly criticizing the violence, but now you're justifying it at the end of the debate. That's why I'm interrupting, not for any other reason.
आपको क्या लग रहा है हिंदू समाज वायलेंस के लिए क्या? आपको क्या लग रहा है हिंदू समाज वायलेंस के लिए क्या? हमने कभी वायलेंस नहीं किया। Neither we support any violence. Neither we take
पिक्चर्स क्या है सर? ये मारपीट के पिक्चर्स नहीं दिख रहे हैं आपको?
विजुअल्स यही तो कह रहे हैं, विजुअल्स वही तो कह रहे हैं।
और मैं आपकी के आर्ग्यूमेंट को यूज करते हुए कहूंगा, अगर हिंदू समाज अपने आप को नॉन वायलेंट मानते हैं तो इस तरह की घटनाएं तो नहीं होनी चाहिए ना सर। It's vigilantism is wrong. Vigilantism is wrong. Whoever does it, anybody taking law into their own hands, it cannot be justified. I'm underlining it. Whether it is the Bajrang Dal, whether it is the VHP, whether it is any other fringe group, whether it is any banned organization, nobody, no citizen can be allowed to take law into their own hands. Go to the police, submit the violators, and that certainly is the only acceptable course of behavior. We will have to leave it there for the moment. I'd like to thank all our panelists for joining us. Vinod Bansal, Desh Ratan Nigam, Professor Atikur Rahman, Sanjay Jha and Syed Aslam Pasha. Thank you so much for joining us. Binay Singh continues with us for debate number 2. Now on to debate number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Just a day after the teaser launch of the mythological epic Adipurush, it's already mired in controversy. The film, which is an adaptation of Indian epic Ramayana, has grabbed the eyeballs when it comes to the depiction of Ravan, played by Saif Ali Khan. From his beard to his hairdo to the giant monster bat that he can be seen riding, critics have gone ahead to the extent of comparing him to Mughal Emperor Alauddin Khilji. Dozens of Twitter users have pointed out that it looks less like a movie and more like a new online fantasy game. Seers say that such creative liberty can't be accepted. Listen in.
मैं इस तत्काल मांग करता हूं कि जो मर्यादाएं हैं उसको तोड़ा न जाए। रावण को जिस तरह से उसको शास्त्रों में वर्णित है उसी तरह से दिखाया जाए। अगर किसी मुगल के रूप में दिखाया जा रहा है, जिहादी के रूप में दिखाया जा रहा है, तो इसको कदापि बर्दाश्त नहीं किया जाएगा। यह घोर आपत्तिजनक है।
Even political parties are up in arms regarding the portrayal of Ravan in the teaser. Sena has demanded a ban on the film. Listen in.
रावण जो एक बहुत विद्वान ब्राह्मण पुरुष थे, उनको मुगल शासक की भांति दिखाया गया है। क्यों हमेशा हमारे हिंदू धर्म को ही निशाना बनाया जाता है? मैं अपने सरकार से, राज्य की सरकार से, केंद्र की सरकार से सबसे मैं मांग करता हूं कि इस तरह की फिल्मों पर रोक लगाई जाए, तत्काल प्रभाव से रोक लगाई जाए। ये हिंदू धर्म में कदापि बर्दाश्त नहीं है। यदि रोक नहीं लगाई जाती है तो हम लोग इसका पुरजोर विरोध करते हैं।
You see, I will not judge a book by its cover and hence a film by its trailer. Let's not go into the details of the trailer. What concerns me is the manner in which Ravana has been portrayed. I am saddened by the fact that the director, let alone researching Valmiki's Ramayana or Kamba Ramayana or Tulsidasa's Ramayana or the umpteen number of interpretations of Ramayana that are available across board, as far as Thailand, where they do beautiful performances of the Ramayana, the least he could have done is gone back and researched our own films.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Let's go close to our guest now. Joining us with us is SS Sriram, political analyst. Also with us, of course, continuing on the panel is Binay Singh, political analyst. Dr. Subansi Raban is with us, a political analyst as well as Murtaza Ali Khan, film critic. SS Sriram, let me begin by asking a very simple question. You know, one way of looking at it is, of course, what Twitter users are saying, that it resembles Alauddin Khilji. Some objective to the fact that there was no Tripun, but you can see in this visual that's actually there. Many are objecting to this giant bat. Some are saying that the look of Saif Ali Khan in this is not akin to Ravan. But there are some who would say that perhaps this is Ramayana that has been interpreted in a modern, fantasy sort of mode. Very many visual movies are there which have existed in this fantasy space, and perhaps it's only that contemporary interpretation that has been given. Because at the end of the day, this is also about creative license. Can we go on cancelling people who don't adapt to a certain perception that we all have Ramayana, which is of the Ramayana that we saw of Raman and Sagar in the 80s? S.S. Sriram.
Good evening, Madhav. Tipu Sultan was depicted as a very benevolent, nice-looking face, while it was the contrary. On the other hand, Ravan, the Hindu mythology, they're just trying to play the fool with our mythology and our beliefs. And Ravan was considered to be a great grandson of Brahma, a Brahmin, a big Shiv Bhakt, and nothing of the sort is even visible in the face that is supposed to be Ravan. This is definitely, you can't get away with your creative license to try and project something which is not actually the actual fact. I mean, it has to be within that realism or within that fact that was there earlier. So this, you are trying to show something which is actually not true under the guise of having creative license, while you show Tipu Sultan as a most good-looking and a benevolent face. How do you want me to agree to this?
No, because your entire thing that he's not looking like a Hindu or a Brahmin or a grandson of Brahma, just look at these images, sir. Are they not Hindu symbols that he has? Because to the best of my knowledge, the tripund that he has on his forehead, or in fact even the tika, doesn't that all symbolize Hinduism?
See, Ravan's act was different, but Ravan as a human being was different as well. He's being projected as the biggest villain, which is what is a fact. That was one of his qualities. While you have so many other good things about Ravan as well. So that is being totally ignored. While Tipu Sultan, the most notorious guy, was shown as the most benevolent guy.
But that is a value judgment. That is a value judgment, sir. We can't make without seeing the film. Only a trailer has come out now. We are only talking about the imagery over here. You're talking about his good qualities. So I never thought, Sumansi Raman, we would be having a debate about the lack of Ravan's virtues being projected in a film, because that's a completely new argument to me. Sumansi Raman.
Father, we've reached ridiculous levels of debate now. I think Mr. Sena will have a couple of photographs of himself taken with Ravan. If he can give them to the film producers, then they can realistically be able to, project how Ravan should be. But anyone who has got photographs with Ravan, please take them and give it to the film crew so that they can look. Nobody knows. All of these are imaginary creations by people. Some may have created it earlier, some may have created it later. I don't think anybody knows, any of us, forget any of us, even the film crew have an idea of how Ravana would have looked. These are assumptions. Some say that the 10 heads itself are allegorical and they represent the 10, evil, whatever qualities in man. So all of this is conjecture, and I can't even believe that we are doing a debate on national television over a 1 minute 46-second trailer which has a problem with a man having a beard. I say it is completely insane, Madhav. And I think that, look, anybody on the show who has an original Ravana photograph, please take it and give it to the film crew.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. One can always have different interpretations, but you're shocked that this is a debate yet you're participating in it. Let me tell you, this has actually taken the social media space by storm today, and that's the huge amount of responses is the reason. 1 second, you're questioning why we're having this debate. I'm telling you why we're having this debate. Let me go across to others now. Binay Singh, simple question is this: there are those who have questioned why Hanuman has a beard and no mustache. There are n number of religious images and serials, for instance this one, where in fact the fur around Hanuman, of course Hanumanji is supposed to be a monkey god, and therefore this particular image also has a similar interpretation. There are very many other serials also that have come out in the past that have portrayed Hanuman so are we really over interpreting things even before we actually see the film?
Are you asking me?
Binay Singh.
Yeah, Madhav, I don't know whose idea was this, director Om Raut's or Saif Ali Khan's idea to have such a kind of get-up for Ravan. So this get-up has surprised me, and I just laughed. But he is not looking like real Ravana. And the second point,
so we come to the root of the problem. Your problem is that Ravan is being projected by Saif Ali Khan.
But yes,
Binay Singh, is that the problem?
No. Madhav, please let me speak myself. I am surprised by his get-up, but Madhav, I was disturbed by his statement. The same Om Raut movie, Tanhaji, his role was chopped up and he made a statement that India is not a country. I remember, India is not a country was a statement made by him. So I think if any actor having such kind of mindset, so the directors must refrain from casting such people.
Yeah, but I think he apologized for that statement as well, because he said that I've been made aware of one of my statements during an interview. It's caused controversy and hurt people's sentiments. That was never my intention or meant that way. I would like to apologize to everybody and withdraw my statement. Lord Ram has always been the symbol of righteousness and heroism for me. So he has apologized for the controversial statement that he has made, Vinay Singh. But let me get in Murtaza Ali Khan. Murtaza Ali Khan, there is a lot of criticism. There's a lot of criticism that, there's a certain type of look, there's a certain type of interpretation being given, and this is not in congruence with what we've been seeing in the past. That's the thrust of the criticism that has come in, as far as this particular film is concerned. Is it just a refreshing look or a contemporary interpretation, or is there something else behind the idea of projecting Ravan and other characters in this fashion?
See, let me tell you first and foremost that I have talked to Om Rawat on multiple occasions, and he's somebody who spends up to 5 years on research. Last time when I talked to him before the release of Tanaji, he told me that Murtaza, for a Maratha, there is a certain kind of curved sword that I use. So that comes out of the research. For a Rajput, I'll use some other kind of sword because of how they move. So he is researching very deep, in how you use weaponry, how you use certain aspects. So when he does a movie like Adipurush, he is not just, studying the Ramanan Sagar version of Ramayana. He is also studying Kamban's version of Ramayana. He is also studying Valmiki's version of Ramayana. He is also studying Tulsidas Ji's Ramcharitramanas. He is also going to study the Jaina version of Ramayana. He is also going to study the Mithila version of Ramayana. He is also going to study the version of Ramayana that they teach you in Lahore Spiti in Himachal Pradesh, where it is believed that Ravan was Sita Mata's father. So you have to understand that's how diverse and dynamic Ramayana is. And there are 7 kandas in Ramayana. And so we are not even aware as of now that which aspect of Ramayana this film is all about. Whether it's going to tell us the entire Ramayana, whether it's going to tell us, youthful days of Ravan. As we know that Pushpakyan and all those things came to him much later. He became a Shiv Bhakt later on. So this could be a younger Ravana, trying to move.
I think that's a very, very fair point. And I want to bring in S.S. Sriram on that point. S.S. Sriram, India is a country where we have different interpretations of many of our texts, because there is regional, there are cultural, various variations in the interpretations. And surely you would also agree. You would have seen those different interpretations. Of course, the version that most people go by is Tulsidas' Ramayana. But having said that, I think freedom of expression in this country also allows us to have those diversity of opinions and interpretations.
No, that freedom of expression is only to tarnish or to give whatever your opinions only on Hinduism. The same freedom of expression is not given to the other religion, if at all if one takes up the picture. For an example, if I were to take some other religion's God, or one of my directors takes that God and gives a different picture, will that be accepted? Will that be said, yes, it's a creative freedom that this gentleman enjoys, or will they ask for the original photo, like Sumanchi Raman wants the original photo of Ravan? None of us know. Everyone knows that we don't have the original photo, but all of us know how, at least were shown, how Ravan was looked. Did he ask for the original photo of Tipu Sultan? He did not ask for it. He agreed to how benevolent Tipu Sultan's face was. But for Ravan, you give enough amount of creative justification and show him as the most lousiest character, and you tell me wait for the movie to come.
Ravan, one second. No, Mr. Sriram, I'm not understanding the point. I mean, Ravan is a person who Rama kills at the end of the Ramayana. So at the end of the day, your problem with the interpretation of Ravan is that he's not being projected positively enough. I thought the main thrust of the criticism is that he's not being projected as Hindu enough. Now look at these images. He has the three marks of vibhuti on his forehead. He has behind him a shivling. He has 10 heads. Are these not in congruence with what the Ramayana says as far as Ravan is concerned, in your view? Simple question.
What about his face? What about his face reaction? You are giving a Tipu a very smiling face. You are not doing so with the Ravan's face. You want to show the element of his anger. You want to show the element of his whatever, the bad side of Ravan. So that is your objective. Your objective is not to get Ravan's good qualities or the bhakta.
Sir, is Ravan not a Mayavi? According to Indian mythology, is Ravan not considered a Mayavi, sir? Mr. Sriram? Does he not fit this interpretation of a Mayavi, in your view?
Sorry?
Is Ravan not considered a Mayavi?
No, he is really looking like the Khiljis or the Mughal emperors who are after the blood of Hindus.
Okay.
That is how he looks today.
Have you seen Mr. Alauddin Khilji? Have you seen Mr. Alauddin Khilji? Are you going by another interpretation that we saw in another film? Have you actually seen Alauddin Khilji?
No,
do you have images
all
of him?
No, all the Mughal kings are looking lovely. They are all handsome people. They all do so lovely things for India. But a Ravan will look
sir,
like
on what basis are you making that claim, sir? That he's looking like Khilji. I'm asking you for your reasoning. No, I mean, it's fine. You can have your own interpretation. That's fine. But if you're saying something that he looks like Khilji, is it only on the basis of a cinematic interpretation of Khilji that you're coming to that conclusion?
By end of the day, what you see, what you assume, or what you probably perceive. Now here is a man who has multiple qualities and who is a very ardent Shiv Bhakt. There is no such, there's no very cosmetic symbols of Hinduism, nothing. The expression is not that soft Ravan that he could have been as well.
Okay, he could have been a soft, devout, Ravan that could have been projected, but that's not what's been projected, and that is objectionable, Subansi Raman, says S. Sriram. Please respond to it.
I think we should get the director to sit with all those who have a personal acquaintance. Look, Madhav, there is a huge problem with this. When we are allowing completely unscientific stuff like this to be articulated, it creates a problem because it then feeds on itself and more people would take up this whole thing. This is the director. Our film critic says he spent 5 years in research on coming up with this. And here we have people who sit on the show and say that he shouldn't have a beard and he is looking very angry and he shouldn't be looking angry. I mean, is this a joke or what? Look, a film director is taking a film. It has got a creative license. If it is cleared by the censors, the matter should end there. Whichever religion it is sort of it involves or it ends up angering certain segments of, if the censor board clears the film, the matter ends there. Nobody has any authority to take it further.
Okay, that's a very valid point. Binay Singh, if the censor board is cleared it, 1 second. Yeah, you made a very valid point. Let me bring in Binay Singh on that. I'm going to go across to Murtaza just after that. Binay Singh, if the censor board has cleared it, surely if there is something objectionable, they would have taken look at it. They would have looked at the larger context here. Over a 1 minute 46-second trailer, people are outraging, not thinking about the due process that would have been followed. Don't we believe in our system of film certification now?
Madhav, look, I am not outraged. Just Murtaza said that there are so many versions of Ramayana. And Om Raut, he's a wonderful researcher. He's a very hardworking guy. So he has researched all the versions of Ramayana. So let me tell you, Murtaza, that even Ramanand Sagar, he did a well research. He went through all the more than 10 versions of Ramayana, and that research had such an impact on his personality that his life totally changed.
Okay.
His life totally changed.
Sir, that was about 40 years ago. That was a little less than 40. Okay, 10 seconds to Murtaza to respond. Times change, contemporary things change, a taste change, all of that changes. Quick 10-second response from Murtaza.
See, I just want to say that we have just seen 140 seconds of the teaser and this may not even make it to the film. So let's not jump the gun. Let's wait for more footage to come out. Let's wait for the director to put out his perspective. I'm not even aware that which part of Ramayana he wants to focus on. So let's wait for the director to come out with his...
All right, let's wait for the director. Let's wait for the film to come out and then we can perhaps take this debate forward. Murtaza Ali Khan, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Subansi Raman, Binay Singh and S.S. Sriram for joining us on the debate this evening. Moving on, and before we end the show this evening, ladies and gentlemen, 22 years of dream have taken off today. The Indian Air Force got hold of the indigenously made light combat attack chopper Prachand. The game-changing combat chopper is capable of flying at very high altitudes and is armed with a range of missiles. The flying tigers of the skies are Pakistan and China's worst nightmare, leaving you with the best glimpses of Prachand.
पूरे विश्वास के साथ कह सकता हूं कि आने वाले समय में जल्द ही दुनिया में मिलिट्री पावर समेत जब भी सुपर पावर्स की बात होगी तो भारत का नाम कनिष्ठिका पर गिना जाएगा, यानी सबसे पहले गिना जाएगा।
The News Hour at 9 will be right back after. watching the News Hour at 9. You were watching the News Hour at 9. Stay tuned.
Good evening and welcome. You're watching the Newshour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. It's Navratri and a raging debate over the celebration of Garba across cities is carrying on. Increasingly, there are episodes of people being asked to stay away, of people being picked up and evicted if they are found to be non-Hindus, and worse, of Muslims being beaten, vigilantism and violence. But Garba organizers at this point are drawing a distinction between cases of vigilantism and of freedom of religion. While violence of any kind, any vigilante action must be and should be unequivocally condemned and stopped, the larger debate now is about whether anyone can ask for any community to stay away from their festivals. Is this discriminatory or a simple request to be allowed to celebrate the way you want?
मैंने उस समय प्रार्थना भी कर ली थी कि माँ की आराधना करना है तो कोई भी धर्म के लोग कर सकते हैं, अलग से करें।
देखिए, बहुत ज़रूरी है ये सब चीज़ें, और यदि असामाजिक तत्व आकर वहाँ का वातावरण, धार्मिक वातावरण को अगर गंदा करते हैं तो मैं समझता हूँ इसके लिए आयोजकों को उसकी चिंता करना चाहिए।
Now the question also is, how far does your right to practice religion go? Does it extend to public places, which is where Garba is organized? In public places, it's not about somebody entering your house. And if you put up posters saying Muslims not allowed inside, does it not run counter to the nature of a secular country where every community should have access to every space?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Political analyst Ravi Srivastav joins us along with advocate Syed Hasanul Haq. Political analyst Anirban Banji will be joining us in just a bit. Spiritual guru Acharya Vikramaditya and lawyer Syed Rezwan Ahmed are with us. But my first question is to former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, Vikram Singh. Mr. Singh, can anyone of any religion put up a poster at a Garba Pandal and say non-Hindus not allowed? Isn't this against the very nature of our country? Legally, is this allowed?
Padmaja, good evening. I would normally say that it is an extremely bad taste to put up a notice like this, in the sense that every private organizer has a right to have rights of admission reserved and customized to his requirements, because he is the one who is making the investments and who is the one who is making all the arrangements. Therefore, to ensure proper peace and tranquility and peaceful passing off of the festival and the arrangement is his responsibility. But to use casteist and communal oriented this notices is also an extremely bad taste. You very rightly mentioned violence and vigilantism cannot be condoned, and notices also like this fall in the area where a religious festival can be questioned. Well, if you want to have sanitize your festival, do it by all means, but there is always the best way of doing everything. And if I were the organizer, I would say people who are not interested in religion and only here for photo ops need not enter, and there will be proper checks and balances, and such festivals or occasions are also by invitation only. Like any club or any golf club or any marriages are held in such parks and in public places. But that doesn't mean that everybody has a right to entry. The right of entry is restricted and decided by the organizers. But to put up posters that Muslims not allowed, well, I would have my reservations. Perhaps I would feel it should not be done, and there are better ways of ensuring that those who want to come are welcome. I have had so many occasions in my university where students of all communities, castes do the dances. I don't know what the dances are, but yes, can be and there should never be a distinction on the basis of caste.
Okay, yes, interesting. So the right to entry is reserved and it is decided by the organizer. It is as simple as that, and that is the legal position, Syed Hasanul Haq. For example, if you have in Goa, a place like Goa, where you can wear whatever you want anywhere, even in a place like a church, they have very explicit instructions that if you want to enter, please cover up your legs and your shoulders. Now, this is not about making a moral judgment, but it is their place of worship, and they get to decide how you dress when you enter it. Syed Hasanul Haq, can the same comparison then not be made of a place where Garba is being organized?
मैम, सबसे पहले शुक्रिया आपका। आज अफसोस के साथ मुझे कहना पड़ रहा है कि आज गांधी जी, मौलाना अबुल कलाम आजाद, बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर की रूह को बहुत तकलीफ है। आज अफसोस के साथ ये कहना पड़ रहा है कि हिंदुस्तान हमारा रूल ऑफ लॉ से चलेगा या फिर किसी ऐसी मानसिकता, कट्टरवादी मानसिकता से चलेगा। आप देखिए, मैं भी बिहार का हूं, उत्तर प्रदेश के कल्चर में पढ़ा हूं मैं अलीगढ़ में, और देखिए कि मैं बिहार का रहने वाला हूं। हम सरस्वती पूजा मनाते हैं। जब मैं बचपन में रहता था यहाँ सरस्वती पूजा मनाते, आज भी लोग बच्चे यहाँ बनाते हैं। हमारे यहाँ जो है दुर्गा पूजा आज चल रहा है। दुर्गा पूजा के मेले में हम लोग जाते हैं, आते हैं, इंद्र पूजा मनाते हैं। हमारे यहाँ मुहर्रम हुआ करता है, लाठियां खेली जाती है, उसमें लोग लाठियां खेलते हैं, आते हैं। हमारे हिंदू समाज के लोग, हमारे भाई लोग, हम लोग आपस में मिल खेलते हैं। ये हिंदुस्तान सेकुलर कंट्री है जिसको संविधान बड़ी खूबसूरती के साथ सबको राइट टू चूज है, सबको आपस में मिलजुल के रहने का। आज देश में सब मिलजुल के रहना चाहते हैं, उसके बावजूद देखिए किस आप उस हैसियत से लोगों के कार्ड, आई कार्ड को चेक किया जाता है। किस हैसियत से? काश होता ये कि आई कार्ड वो चेक करते इस नाम पे, यहाँ बेटा आई कार्ड की कॉपी दो, हम तुम्हें रोजगार देंगे। रोजगार के नाम पे आप शून्य है, बट्टा है। लोग, आपने कहा था कि हमने 8 साल में 16 करोड़ रोजगार देंगे, लेकिन आप शून्य है उसमें। आप वहां पे आप लोगों की फसादात करने पर लगे हैं। लोग आपस में आप जोड़ने के काम नहीं, तोड़ने का काम कर रहे हैं। आप संविधान विरोधी काम कर रहे हैं।
संविधान विरोधी,
आप दुर्गा पूजा,
just second, संविधान विरोधी। So let me ask you this, सैयद रिजवान अहमद, if we have सैयद हसनुल हक, वो कह रहे हैं कि मैं सरस्वती पूजा करता हूं तो मुझे गरबे में क्यों नहीं आने दिया जाता?
जी, thank you so much. I would also like to make my submission in Hindi so that my friend also is comfortable in what I am trying to tell. Okay, can I?
Sure, please.
Yeah, Jai Hind, Vande Mataram. See, when we talk about a policy, हम एक सामूहिक पॉलिसी की बात करते हैं, एक्सेप्शंस के लिए नहीं करते हैं। रिजवान अहमद भी हर काम करता है, भारत माता की जय बोलता है, आरती में भी चला जाता है। अभी कुछ दिन पहले मैं, अभी 3 दिन पहले मैं उसमें माँ के जागरण में गया था। बट मैं कोई इस देश का रूल नहीं बनाता कि रिजवान अहमद चला गया आरती में तो रिजवान अहमद को गरबा में जाने की अनुमति मिल जाएगी। रिजवान अहमद का उस अंगना में क्या काम, और मैं बताता हूं क्यों काम नहीं। अगर सेकुलरिज्म की इतनी दुहाई देनी है, एक तो मैं पहली बार पद्मजा देख रहा हूं, मैंने मुस्लिम्स को यह कहते तो सुना था कि भारत माता की जय हम पर थोप रहे हो। ये पहली बार मैंने आर्गुमेंट सुने हैं पिछले 3 दिन में कि गरबा में जाने का अधिकार मुसलमान हिंदुओं पर थोप रहा है, बेचारों पर। अब मैं अपना पॉइंट बता दूं कि भाई सेकुलरिज्म जिंदा रखने के मैं और तरीके बताता हूं। भारत माता की जय बोलना शुरू करो, वंदे मातरम बोलना शुरू करो, गंगा आरती बड़ी खूबसूरत होती है, हंसने से काम नहीं चलेगा। गंगा आरती भाई बड़ी खूबसूरत होती है, काशी की गंगा आरती में जाओ, गणेश जी के विसर्जन में जाओ, मां के जागरण में चुनरी बांध के जाओ। कौन मना कर रहा है भाई? अगर तुम 70 साल ये कर रहे होते तो मैं गरबा में जाने से कोई रोकता ना। जैसा कि सम्मानित विक्रम सिंह साहब ने कहा, मेरे बड़े हैं चरण स्पर्श। विक्रम सिंह साहब, समाज के कानून स्टैटिक नहीं होते, डायनेमिक होते हैं, ये आप जानते हैं। और ये यही डायनामिज्म है जो 70 साल में मैं मानता हूं हिंदू जागरूक हो रहा है। आई कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट द हिंदूज फॉर बीइंग अवेयर नाउ एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट यू वर मेड अ फूल इन नेम ऑफ सेक्युलरिज्म इन द लास्ट 70 इयर्स। तो मुसलमानों, इस्लामी नजरिए से भी गरबा में जाना शिर्क है, पिक्चर जाना शिर्क है, क्लब जाना शिर्क है, डिस्को बार, हुक्का बार जाना शिर्क है। तुम गरबा में जाने के लिए इतने मतवाले क्यों हो रहे हो? मुझे ये बात समझ में नहीं आती।
वो कह रहे हैं कि मैं प्रोग्रेसिव होना चाहता हूं, आप होने नहीं दे रहे।
औरतों को बुरखे में रखते हो।
पद्मजा जी, देखिए पद्मजा जी,
अपनी औरतों को बुरखे में रखते हो,
हम
दूसरे की
को, हम हिंदुस्तान की संस्कृति
हो,
बहुत ही
कैसे
डाइवर्सिटी है।
शर्म करो यार।
अरे सर देखिए, इनके पेट में बिलबिलाहट आ रही है, दर्द हो रहा है। मैं अपने आपको बात को करूं, मैं अगर बोल सकूं, अगर है मुझे आधा मिनट अगर बोलने की। हम संस्कृति हिंदुस्तान की हर 100 किलोमीटर पे हमारा रवायत चेंज होता है, बदलता। हम जब नहीं करते हैं हम चीजों को तो कहते हैं, फिर मारते हैं, कहते हैं कि क्यों नहीं करते तुम, हम जिस तरीके से कहते हैं वो क्यों नहीं करते, लिंचिंग कर दी जाती है। और जब हम कहते हैं कि हम रवायत को, हिंदुस्तान की चीजों को एक साथ मिलके, जितने भी धर्म है उसकी जो है क्या नाम है, जो भी चीजें हो रही है कि हम मनाना चाह रहे हैं, ईद हो, मुहर्रम हो, दिवाली हो, कोई भी सब साथ में मिलकर मनाना चाह रहे हैं तो भी मानना चाह रहे हैं। आप बताइए कि गरबा में जाने से कौन किसी को अगर कोई जाना चाह रहा है अपने मन से, ख्वाहिश से, लोग बुलाना चाह रहे हैं, आप कौन होते हैं रोकने वाले? आप हिंदुस्तान के संविधान को बदलना चाहते हैं। आप सोच, आपकी सोच जो गंदी सोच है, मानसिकता, ये दो देश को जोड़ने वाले, आपकी एकता अखंडता को हमारे जो जोड़ता काम करता है, एक दूसरे को भाईचारे,
हसन उल हक जाते हैं तो आप कहते हैं दूर रहो, जब वो कहते हैं वंदे मातरम नहीं बोलना तो आप कह रहे हैं कि क्यों नहीं बोल रहे।
हाँ जी पद्मजा, शायद भाई ने मेरी पूरी बात सुनी नहीं, घबरा गए होंगे। भाई मेरे, ये इलू इलू शुरू करना है ना तो ये काशी की आरती से करो, भारत माता से करो, वंदे मातरम से करो, माँ के जागरण से करो। ये इलू इलू गरबई में क्यों करना है तुमको यार?
व्यवहार देखिए इनका, सोच, मानसिकता उजागर कीजिए। हंसने से नहीं, आपकी सोच गंदी है, छोटी सोच है, ठीक है? छोटी सोच को ऊपर कीजिए, प्रोग्रेसिव लाइए।
वो हमें मालूम है, अपनी औरतों को बुरखे में रखोगे और दूसरे औरतों को नृत्य करते देखोगे, यही तुम्हारी सोच है। अपनी औरतों को जाके गरबा करवाओ ना बुरखा उतार के, किसने रोका है? अपनी औरतों को बुरखा उतार के गरबा करवाओ।
मानसिकता गंदी।
Okay, let's not make this about a battle over women's bodies, please. Let's keep the women away from it. Again, like we said, anyone trying to engage in any kind of behavior where women are being filmed against their consent, or if there are lewd remarks being passed, they should be picked up and handed over to the police. Even their vigilantism is not justified. But a specific point to you, Syed Hasanul Haq, before I bring in Acharya Vikramaditya and Ravi Srivastav, would you then unequivocally, yes, anyone who wants to go, खुद जाना चाहते हैं वो गरबे में, उनको अलाउड होना चाहिए, बट देन इक्वली वुड यू कंडेम पीपल हु से कि नहीं, वी विल नॉट से वंदे मातरम, इट इज बीइंग इम्पोज्ड ऑन अस, वी विल नॉट। फॉर एग्जांपल, देयर इज अ वेरी फेमस एक्टर, शी वाज ऑन बिग बॉस, उनको वहां पर सामूहिक पूजा की जा रही थी, उन्होंने कहा मैं नहीं करूंगी। शी इज अ वेरी फेमस, वेरी लिबरल एक्टर बाय द वे, एंड उन्होंने कहा मैं दुर्गा पूजा नहीं करूंगी, ये मेरे धर्म के खिलाफ है, ये मेरे मजहब के खिलाफ है, उन्होंने वहां मना कर दिया। आज वही पूछ रही हैं कि भाई हमें गरबे में नहीं क्यों नहीं दिया जा रहा? आपने खुद बोला कि मैं दुर्गा पूजा नहीं करूंगी, यहां पे देवी की ही पूजा हो रही है और अब आप वहां गरबे में जाना चाहते हैं, क्यों? ये तो थोड़ा अजीब लगता है ना, कि जब आपका मन है तो आप कहेंगे कि ये मेरे मजहब के खिलाफ है, दूसरा आदमी कहे ये मेरे धर्म के खिलाफ है, यू आर लाइक हाउ अनसेक्युलर। सैयद हसनुल हक
जी मैम, देखिए आप इस एक्ट्रेस के बारे में बोल रही हैं, नहीं बोल रही हैं, उनका ये
आपको मैं बताती हूँ, गौहर खान थी, वो बिग बॉस पे थी, वहां पर पूजा हो रही थी, उनसे कहा गया कि चलिए सब लोग साथ में पूजा करते हैं, and she said not performing puja is a part of my belief of not worshipping idols or nature or human beings. It's the crux of my faith. Playing holy has no form of worship. My faith teaches me to respect everyone's belief, so I stood in brotherhood of the puja. पूजा आपको नहीं करनी थी, गरबा भी पूजा है। सैयद हसनुल हक,
मैम आपको क्या गौहर खान किसी धर्म को रिप्रेजेंट करती हैं? क्या धर्म को उनके लोग धर्म के फॉलोअर्स हैं? ठीक है, आप ऐसी बातें अगर कर रही हैं, वो उनके अपना व्यक्तिगत विशेष। आप, मैंने कहा, आप कहते हैं आप गणेश पूजा, आप मेरे लोग हैं, महाराष्ट्र में लोग हैं, मेरे दोस्त लोग, मैं गणेश पूजा में गया, आप देखिए, मैं अगर धर्म को, मुस्लिम धर्म को अगर मानता हूं, अगर है तो मेरे दोस्त हैं, हिंदू भाई हैं मेरे साथ में। अभी मैं यहाँ पे बैठा हूँ, मेरे साथ अमित गुप्ता बैठे हुए हैं, राहुल कुमार बैठे हुए हैं और दीपक गुप्ता जी बैठे हुए हैं, 3 लोग बैठे हुए हैं। मैं इनके साथ जाता हूं और अगर नहीं नमस्कार कर सकता, हाथ जोड़ के खड़ा होता हूं, क्योंकि मेरे दोस्त हैं, उनको रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं, उनकी पूजा करते हैं। तो मेरा काम कम से कम पूजा कर रहे हैं, मैं रिस्पेक्ट करूं उनकी, ठीक है, उनकी आस्था की रिस्पेक्ट करो। किसी का धर्म हमारे हिंदुस्तान में, किसी भी रिलीजन, किसी भी मजहब का मजाक उड़ाना नहीं है। किसी के लिए कोई कहीं जाना चाहता है, सब हंसी खुशी आए। ये लोग डंडा खेलते हैं आके मुहर्रम में, क्या हम उन्हें, औरतें हमारी खड़ी रहती हैं बिहार में, चारों तरफ से औरतें खड़ी रहती हैं, हुजूम में देखती हैं, क्या वो डंडा खेल के लाठी भाजेंगे वहां पे? तो क्या ये लव जिहाद शुरू करेंगे? उनको हम मार के भगाएंगे? मैं वीडियोस में आपको अगर बोलेंगी तो मैं वीडियोस और फोटोज अपने भेज दूंगा, अपने साथियों के भेज दूंगा। मैं आप उसको चलाइए, दिखाइए, इनकी मानसिकता को बदलने की।
ये लिबरल वॉइसेस है जो कि कह रही हैं कि भाई हम जाते हैं, हम गणेश विसर्जन में भी पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं, सिमिलरली हम गरबा में भी पार्टिसिपेट करना चाहते हैं, ये तो वेलकम किया जाना चाहिए।
नहीं, सबसे पहले तो ये सोचें हक साहब जो बोल रहे हैं, शायद मंत्री जी का एक इन्होंने कमेंट नहीं सुना। जिनका विश्वास है, जिनको परमात्मा में विश्वास है, भगवती में जानते हैं, आदर करते हैं, उन्हें कोई दिक्कत नहीं, आए बिल्कुल आए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। लेकिन उसके लिए पहले धर्म को अपना तो लें। लेकिन कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि जो पॉलिटिकल जाते हैं, गणेश जी की आरती उतारते हैं, बाद में जाके क्षमा मांगते हैं कि नहीं साहब मैंने गलती कर दी, मैं तो नहीं जाना चाहता था। अभी एक नाज थी जिन्होंने शायद हर हर शंभू गाना गा दिया था, उनके खिलाफ फतवा आ गया, उसके बाद उन्होंने कह दिया कि मेरी गलती हो गई। ये जिस प्रकार के लोग हैं, जिस प्रकार की पल में जो एक एक फ्रैक्शन ऑफ सेकंड्स में इनके माइंड चेंज होते जाते हैं, वो समस्या का कारण है। अभी विक्रम सिंह जी बोल रहे थे, मैं कहूंगा विक्रम सिंह जी ने, हमारे साहब ने बोला कि आपको पहले अभी पद्मजा आपने जो बात बोली ना, बिल्कुल ठीक बोली कि इस मैटर को डिस्कस करना चाहिए कि गरबा है क्या। गरबा एक रिलीजियस प्रैक्टिस है, गरबा एक सोशल फंक्शन नहीं है। गरबा का बेसिक पर्पस क्या है? आत्मा के साथ परमात्मा भगवती की उस ज्योति के साथ आत्मा रूप में जो लोग हैं वो एकीकरण करने का प्रयास करते हैं और वहां ध्यान साधना करते हैं। अगर यहां हक साहब बैठे हैं, क्या उनका इस्लाम इस बात को इजाजत देता है? क्या इस्लाम के जो लोग हैं मानने वाले, वो ये नहीं कहेंगे कि इनको दोबारा कलमा पढ़ना पड़ेगा? क्या उनको जाकर फतवा लेंगे? ये जो फतवा इनके खिलाफ आते हैं वो इसको एक्सेप्ट करने को तैयार है? अभी ये मुहर्रम की बात कर रहे थे, शायद उन्होंने एक्चुअल फैक्ट नहीं दिए हैं। दो कौम होती हैं, शिया और सुन्नी। ये हिंदुओं की बात तो छोड़ दें, अगर शियाओं के मुहर्रम के अंदर सुन्नी आ जाए तो शायद वो जिंदा नहीं बचता। जिस प्रकार की व्यवस्था बना दी जाती है, ये इस बात को माने ना माने, लेकिन ये तथ्य है, मैं सामने उपस्थित कर रहा हूं।
I think he has the right to respond to this, क्योंकि आपने स्पेसिफिक एग्जांपल दिया है। Then I'll bring in रवि श्रीवास्तव और अनिर्बान बैनर्जी। सैयद हसनुल हक, टीवी पे कहना एक बात है, but the fact is this is decried as idolatry and it is not allowed। तो आप कह रहे हैं कि आप गरबे में जाते हैं, but it is not unlike विसर्जन, it is a religious function, not a cultural function।
सबसे पहले है हिंदुस्तान रूल ऑफ लॉ से चलेगा या फिर कट्टर मानसिकता से? मैं फिर बोली, क्या हमारे दोस्त आते हैं ईद पे और हमें मुबारकबाद दे के जाते हैं, या मुहर्रम में आते हैं, वो कहते हैं कि या अली या हुसैन साथ में कहते हैं, क्या उनको रिलीजन चेंज करना पड़ेगा उनका?
ईद में आके आप नमाज नहीं पढ़ते, आपके दोस्त जो आपके घर पे आते हैं वो बेशक सेवइयां खाते हैं, विच इज ग्रेट।
उनको रिलीजन चेंज करना पड़ेगा?
मेरा धर्म अलाउ करता है कि
ये है,
मेरा धर्म अलाउ करता है, भारतीय संस्कृति सनातन पद्धति में बिल्कुल मना नहीं है, लेकिन आपके यहाँ मना है।
आप कहीं रिलीजन चेंज करेंगे? आप हमारे यहाँ पे
आपके यहाँ तो उसको शिर्क कह दिया, आपके यहाँ तो उसको नाजायज कह दिया,
आपकी सोच जो है, देखिए सोच जो है, गंदी सोच जो व्यवस्था है,
let's not attack each other personally। सिर्फ आप मुद्दे पे बात कीजिए। वो कह रहे हैं कि आ करके आप बेशक मिठाइयां खाइए, पर पूजा में नहीं आ सकते हैं, जैसे कि किसी और कोई और आदमी आपके घर में आके आपकी पूजा नहीं कर सकता।
अपने मन से लोग चाह रहे हैं, मुझे बुलाया जाता है, मैं जाके खड़ा होता हूं। अभी पटना के अंदर हुआ, चाणक्य होटल के पास महाराष्ट्र भवन में। आप अभी क्या हुआ महाराष्ट्र भवन में, फोटोज आपको भेजता हूँ। महाराष्ट्र भवन के अंदर जो है क्या होता है, गणेश पूजा, गणेश चतुर्थी। मैं जाके, मुझको पर्सनली बुलाया गया और लोगों को मैं जाके खड़ा हुआ, मैं बिना बुलाए हुए गया, मैं बुलाया गया। आप मुझे धर्म चेंज करना पड़ेगा? आप, मैं मौलवी, किसी मौलवी की बात नहीं, आप जैसे कट पंडित के और किसी कट मुल्ले की बात पे नहीं चलता हूँ। मैं हिंदुस्तान के लिए, मेरे लिए सबसे पहले नेशन फर्स्ट है, हिंदुस्तान का संविधान फर्स्ट है। आपके लिए आपका हो सकता है, आपकी सोच, आपकी हिंदू और हिंदुत्व में वही फर्क है। मैं आपको बोल दूं, आप रावण के मानने वाले हैं, जो देश को, हिंदू धर्म को गंदा कर रहे हैं, हिंदू धर्म की एक सोच को गंदा कर रहे हैं। आप अगर राम भगवान के मानने वाले होते तो आप कहते हैं भाईचारगी की, आपसी भाईचारगी की बात कर रहे हो।
Vikram Singh ji, then you would accept that voices like Sayyid Hasanul Haq should actually be welcomed inside the Durga Pandal, because there will also be voices who will stand up and say that अगर कोई हर हर शंभू गा रही है, मुस्लिम महिला, उसके खिलाफ फतवा नहीं होना चाहिए, because radicalism and exclusionist tendencies on both sides are wrong.
Padmaja, I would like to go back to Hardil Aziz Rizwan Sahab. What Rizwan Sahab has said, please listen to every word very carefully. Let us not be selective. If at a given point of time there are those who refuse to say Vande Mataram, refuse to do Surya Namaskar, refuse to sing the national anthem, well, there have to be certain apprehensions also. But if for the sake of entering the pandal, you pick up a narrative and then enter the pandal and return and then again revert to the same old habits, well, what can one say about that? What Rizwan Sahab has said, and if somebody like Rizwan Sahab, there will be no questions asked. Rizwan Sahab is not only welcome in the Garba, he is welcome in my heart also, and that of 130 million Indians, because what he said, he believes and he practices.
Okay.
Those who practice nationalism are welcome everywhere. No doors are closed to them. But those who are selective, well, people with gate crashing cannot be condoned, Padmajaji, and gate crashing in any form or any guise. It has to be for the organizers to satisfy themselves.
Okay, so you don't choose your definition of secularism selectively, Anirban Banerjee. And a specific example was quoted, the most innocuous of things, saying Vande Mataram. Even the bhajan of Gandhi ji, Ishwar Allah Tero Naam Sabko Sanmati De Bhagwan, even that was objected as saffron agenda by Mehbooba Mufti ji. Surya Namaskar, all of these were opposed, saying Hindutva, Hinduism, Hindutvawadi, and now suddenly Garba should be open for all. Selective. Anirban Banerjee, I think you've muted your mic. Go on. Well, this seems to...
Now?
Yes, go on.
Okay, so I actually want to invite the RSS BJP leaders and their supporters as well, especially from Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, UP, to Kolkata and West Bengal at this very time when one of the greatest festivals of West Bengal is going on, that is the Durga Puja. And please, sir, come to our land and witness what exactly celebrations of a civilized society looks like. You can visit any pandal all over West Bengal. There are more than 1 lakh. You can visit any pandal. No one, absolutely no one is going to question your religious identity, your linguistic identity, your caste identity, whatever identity it might be. Nobody is going to question you. You can enter the pandal. You want to watch Durga, the idol of Durga Ma for hours at end. Nobody is going to stop you. You roam around the city, roam around West Bengal whole night, enjoy yourself. Nobody is going to question your religious faith. And most of all, in the so-called different religion places where the Muslims live or the Christians live or the Sikhs live, there are many Durga Pujas arranged by them who are not Hindus. Please, witness, come here, witness
Syed
what
Rizwan
a
Ahmed.
civilized society looks like.
Real secularism on exhibit in Bengal.
Yeah. See, Padmaja, I tried to pick up that point, but you snapped me down. I'll try my luck again, my humble wisdom. Believe it or not, in the center of this controversy is Hindu woman. Believe me or not. Now you will say, don't objectify women. I am sorry to say, I have to bring that element in between. Here is a case where Hindus by and large, or a section of Hindus who are the organizers, in layman language, the girls, the ladies are dancing. In Sanskritic language, they are doing nirtya to please the goddess. But I am discussing both the nuances. By and large, organizer, Hindu organizer does not want a Muslim, Rizwan Ahmed, to come in close proximity of those women performing. Simple. Comparing it to Eid, Milan, Durga Puja, X, Y, Z is technically wrong. You have to bring in the element of Hindu women and the Hindu organizers.
No, by mistake, do you think...
10 seconds. Padmaja, 10 seconds. Padmaja, 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
10 seconds only, then I also have a question and so does Anirban Banerjee. Okay, 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Yes. Padmaja, 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Padmaja, I asked my friend, in which age you are living when you propagate burqa and hijab, my dear fellow? Which age you are living?
Okay, 10 seconds over. Anirban Banerjee, respond.
Response to what? This man probably doesn't realize that this is 2022 and not 1722 or 1422. I also invite him, please sir, come down to Kolkata and stop exhibiting your sycophancy here by laughing incessantly and unnecessarily. This is not the courtesy to extend towards your co-panelists. Why are you laughing?
When are you going to do away with burqa? When are you going to do away with burqa? Answer me. Answer me.
At least watch who you are speaking to. I am not someone who practices a burqa or anything like that.
When are you going to come in the modern age and do away with burqa? Answer me. When are you going to do away with burqa? Answer me.
Is this man even aware who he is speaking to?
When are you going to propagate that Muslims should stop wearing burqa? Tell me. When are you going to say that Muslim women should stop wearing burqa? Tell me now. Tell me now.
It is their choice. It is their choice. If they want to wear, they can.
So it is the choice of the organizer that he does not want Muslims there. Simple. It is the choice of the organizer. That is all.
As I said, this is not 1722. The BJP and their stooges will not decide. They will not decide. They wanted to take control of Durga Puja in Kolkata and do these similar things, but we have rejected them. We have rejected them. In Durga Puja, every person of every religion, every creed.
When are you going to say that Muslim women are living in ancient times and they should do away with burqa? Like you are blaming the Hindus and the Hindu women. Tell me that now.
Are you even aware of who you are speaking to, or do you know?
Okay, I think Anirban Banerjee, you're dancing around the subject. While perfectly legitimate points have been made by you, the fact I think that is being hammered in is you have to have the same standards. If you are asking for complete liberal approach, you should advocate it all around, or you propagate it as a choice on all sides. Ravi Srivastav. It is the selectivism which I think has got people's hackles up. Ravi Srivastav.
My point is very plain and simple. What I want to say that Garba and Dandiya are pure cultural and social events. It has nothing to do with the religion at all. And if somebody claims so that it is connected to religion, what girls or boys, ladies are singing, mujhe प्यार हुआ अल्लाह मियाँ, so they should know better that what kind of bhajan they are singing over here. The second thing is that this should not be any community specific at all. It has become
Mr.
a public and a commercial.
The things which have been clearly interpreted in the scripts.
Please,
don't do the things by of your own mind. If some people are doing that thing in a wrong way, it doesn't mean you are misinterpreting the subject. If you don't have a knowledge about the subject, then why you are giving the interpretation? You are giving your own interpretation of the subject just by your own mind.
Okay, Acharyaji, let him please finish.
Some people are...
Let him please finish 30 seconds and you can come for a rebuttal. Yes.
Yeah, it is a public and a commercial event. Let me tell you.
No, sir, it is not a commercial event. If some people celebrate it as a commercial event, it is a different thing. But it has religious roots, and I don't know enough about it, but that is what Acharya Vikramaditya is claiming.
I am telling you, it's a commercial event here.
Sir, neither are you Acharya, neither am I. I think the only Acharya on the panel is Acharya Vikramaditya, so we pretty much have to take his word for it.
And I will reply to Mr. Rizwan's crude comment that people go there to watch the women's body. Please stop it. You can watch a women's body in a pub, in a club, anywhere.
Who said body? Hello.
Go and see.
Who said this? Who said this?
That?
Who said woman body? Hello. Hello, grow up, man. Who said woman body?
That people go there to watch the.
Who said woman body?
Okay, just to be clear, it is not Rizwan Sahab who said this. Somebody did actually say it, and that is the Samajwadi Party member of Parliament, S.T. Hassan. He is the person who did say that women who are dancing Garba are actually doing a numaish. But I'll leave it at that. I think this is still an issue which a lot of people find themselves very conflicted about. The only bottom line that you can lay down is that there is no place for violence or vigilantism. That being said, if you want to extend the issue of choice, and you call burqa a choice, then deciding who is a visitor in your pandal is equally that much a choice. Let's just leave it at that, and let's hope that better sense prevails and people don't take the law in their hands and respect the wishes of their neighbors. Thanks very much to all of you for joining, and a happy Ashtami again to all our viewers. Okay, there was quite a dramatic twist to Congress's flagship Bharat Jodo Yatra yesterday. There were pictures of Rahul Gandhi amid a heavy downpour, completely drenched but continuing his address to a crowd in Mysuru as part of this yatra. Riding high on the moment, an electrified Congress has given a clarion call. Barsat, Andhi and Gandhi. Many of them have predicted that this is going to be a turning point, not just ahead of the Karnataka elections, but also could well change the direction in which the winds are blowing in the lead up to the 2024. Remember, there are also comparisons made to that picture of Sharad Pawar from 2019, just before a by-election, where a rain-drenched Sharad Pawar made a speech and many believe helped the NCP win a Satara seat.
कश्मीर तक ये यात्रा चलेगी, रुकेगी नहीं। बारिश आ रही है, बारिश ने इस यात्रा को नहीं रोका। गर्मी, तूफान, ठंड इस यात्रा को नहीं रोकने वाली, क्योंकि यही हिंदुस्तान का इतिहास है, यही हिंदुस्तान का डीएनए है। जितनी भी नफरत, जितनी भी हिंसा ये करेंगे, हम हिंदुस्तान को जोड़ेंगे।
Debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Political analyst Sandeep Singh Bishant Nagar with us, member of the CWC Vivek Bansal. My first question again to you, Shehzad Poonawala, national spokesperson of the BJP. A lot of people are commenting about how the man who was dismissed as a reluctant politician, somebody who has not really got it in him, he stayed the course. He stayed the course for close to a month and continued in the, in the rain and the storm.
You know, this entire debate reeks of such privilege that a man does what most people have done very ordinarily, that is standing in heavy rains, and he gets fawned upon by an entire ecosystem which has been trying for the last, I think, 14 years to relaunch him every time and rebrand him and repackage him and keep fawning sometimes at his abs or his ability to bite sugarcane with his bare teeth. Now it is about him standing in the rain. What is the big deal? And if there is,
the big deal is that they are saying that the BJP does these grand events, and you've got these pandals and your AC and your fans, but here is a man who's just standing there and he's addressing the crowd.
You know, how many of those crowds do get converted into electoral gains for his party at the very least, if nothing else? 180 seats that they contested against the BJP directly, where Mr. Rahul Gandhi was a factor, they lost 170 seats in 2014 and in 2019. Out of the 49 states, the battles that he went for, leading the party, he lost about 40 states. So that is where it counts. And finally, if there is a picture that should raise heckles or raise issues, it should be about Rahul Gandhi being printed on the flag of Karnataka. Could you have somebody being posted and plastered on the flag of a state or of the nation?
Okay, we'll come to that in just a second, but first address the first issue raised by Shehzad Poonawala, Vivek Bansal. It reeks of privilege. A politician who does the very basic things, which is addressing a rally. That's what politicians are supposed to do. Why is everyone so excited about the very basic function of a politician?
Well, he's bound to say that. And as it has become a norm or a fashion, with the BJP and its acolytes to bring Rahul Gandhi in, close his scanner and criticize each and every move of his. Let me tell you, this yatra, it's not a norm. It's exceptional in the sense that 5 months long yatra, incessantly, it is no joke, and it reflects that he means business. And to say that he lost, don't go by statistics. When we, any statistics we can take of any in games and in statistics.
Sir, as a matter of fact, yatras have been done periodically by many politicians. You had Jagan Reddy do a yatra. You had Bandi Sanjay Kumar, who carried out a yatra of the BJP in Telangana just a while ago. You had the BJP chief in Tamil Nadu do a yatra. But when your party leader does the same yatra, which many politicians do, you make it seem as if, as if it's the only time anyone has ever done a yatra. The question being asked is, have you set the bar so low that the basic seems exceptional?
You see, there are two things involved. As I said, definitely politicians tend to take yatras, and those yatras pay dividends at the same time. But such a long and arduous, this yatra is, particularly in recent times, it has been unheard of. Let me tell you, from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, these sort of yatras have not taken place. And the amount of response which is eliciting from the crowds, from the people, and the amount of affection which he's getting, that is raising.
Like somebody said today, Shehzad Poonawala, that the story is not Rahul Gandhi addressing the rally. The story is the people who are standing in the rain and listening to him in the rain.
Well, it wasn't really that big a crowd.
That's what I was coming to.
Sir, now can we speak one at a time? Thank you.
No, definitely I didn't interrupt.
You don't need to speak when it's my time. That's the way a debate works.
Okay, go on.
Thank you. Now let's go from picture to the yatra. By the way, in Kerala, we hardly had any stake. He spent 18 days there. If he wants to make this yatra about delivering political and electoral gains for his party, how many days pray is he spending in Gujarat, in Himachal, or in Uttar Pradesh? By the way, secondly, भारत ऑलरेडी जुड़ चुका है. सरदार पटेल ने पहले ही जोड़ दिया है. विवेक बंसल जी, ये तो आपकी प्रथा है सरदार पटेल को हमेशा इंसल्ट करने की, whether it's whether it's opposing the Statue of Unity, whether it's opposing the Sardar Sarovar project, or whether it's denying the contributions of Sardar Patel. Now sir, can we speak one at a time? I did not interrupt you. Have the patience to wait for 30 seconds. Why are you so impatient? You don't get extra points for interrupting me. Rahul Gandhi is watching the debate, he'll hear your points. Now, let me complete my point. Second, I am very glad, for one, that Mr. Rahul Gandhi is taking out this Bharat Jodo Yatra. At least he's acknowledging Bharat ek desh hai. Till yesterday you were saying Bharat desh hi nahi hai. So I'm glad that you're taking out a yatra and you're going back on your words. But I have a few questions to ask. What is the agenda of your Bharat Jodo Yatra? First you had George Ponaiya as the poster boy. Then you had Rijil Makkutti who was cutting and slaughtering a calf on Kerala streets. Another picture, poster boy of yours. Then Shashi Tharoor displays a map of India where Jammu Kashmir is partly in Pakistan and China. Then you have an agenda where you are taking out this thing, and Rajasthan, you have a transfer order with the caste of policemen mentioned. So caste mein todo. Then you had Rajasthan's agenda has been Hindu-Muslim from very long time in the electricity order. You are divided into Hindu and Muslim. So what is your agenda? Is this Bharat Jodo or is it Bharat Todo?
Okay. So great pictures, maybe a great photo opportunity, Dushyant Nagar, but what is the larger message of this yatra is still not clear after all of these days. And solitary pictures are not going to make up for the lack of a coherent message.
देखिए, पहले तो मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी के प्रवक्ता महोदय को ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि भारत तो जुड़ा हुआ था, है और रहेगा, लेकिन भारत को आपने पिछले 8 साल में बांटने का काम किया है, तोड़ने का काम किया है. जिन 20 करोड़ लोगों ने पिछले 8 वर्ष में अपनी जीविका गरीबी रेखा के नीचे जो लोग गुजार रहे हैं, 80 करोड़ लोग जो वितरण के राशन के ऊपर अपना जीवन यापन कर रहे हैं, अपना उसी के ऊपर निर्भर कर रहे हैं, आपने कभी उनके बारे में आप लोग सोचते नहीं हैं. आप तो 10-15 लोग हैं, इस देश के रिच लोग हैं, उनके बारे में सोचते हैं, उनके लिए पॉलिसी बनाते हैं. आपको तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. अरे भारत जोड़ो यात्रा अगर चल रही है, लोग उसमें आ रहे हैं, विभिन्न विषयों के ऊपर चर्चा हो रही है, मंथन हो रहा है, तो आपको दिक्कत क्या है? आपको क्या प्रॉब्लम है बताइए. आप क्या गरीब के साथ आपका तो कोई संवाद है नहीं. आपके माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने तो कभी गरीबों के बीच में जाने की कभी कोई प्रयास भी नहीं किया. एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस तक नहीं की पिछले 8 वर्ष जी.
आपके कौन है प्रधानमंत्री जी?
अगर राहुल गांधी जी आप आम लोगों के साथ में संवाद स्थापित कर रहे हैं, आम लोगों के बीच में रात्रि गुजार रहे हैं, दिन में उनके साथ चल रहे हैं, उनकी परेशानियों को समझ रहे हैं, तो आपको बड़ी दिक्कत हो रही है. देखिए, ये यात्रा भारत में परिवर्तन लाएगी, ये गरीबों को सशक्तिकरण करेगी.
सर कैसे?
लोगों के जो लोकतांत्रिक
अधिकारों का हनन किया जा रहा है, बीजेपी has been a failure.
लाएगी.
बट सवाल वो नहीं था. सवाल आपसे ये पूछा जा रहा है, एजेंडा क्या है?
मजाक मत उड़ाइए.
I can come to you and say मैं आपकी जिंदगी बदल दूंगी. फिर आप पूछेंगे ना कैसे बदलोगे? तो वो कैसे का जवाब अभी तक मिला नहीं है इतने दिनों में।
बिल्कुल बदलेंगे।
कैसे?
समता और समानता के द्वारा आम आदमी का, गरीब आदमी का, गांव के आदमी का, देहात के आदमी का सशक्तिकरण करके बदलेंगे।
सर ये तो बहुत अच्छे शब्द हैं, जैसे कि प्यार की राजनीति, बट मेजर्स क्या हैं? व्हाट्स द एक्शन प्लान?
उन संस्थाओं को शक्ति देके करेंगे जो निजीकरण करके आपने सरकारी संस्थानों को बेचने का काम किया है, उसको रोक के करेंगे।
मतलब आप कह रहे हैं कि प्राइवेटाइजेशन बंद कर देगी कांग्रेस? आई डोंट नो अगर आपको ऑथराइज है ये सब चीजें कहने के लिए। एनीवे,
बिल्कुल
शहजाद पूनावाला,
लेट मी जस्ट गिव यू अ लो डाउन।
मुनाफे में चल रही है कंपनियां।
ओके, वन एट अ टाइम प्लीज। अभी संदीप सिंह भी बचे हुए हैं, उनको भी बोलना है। दुष्यंत नागर, एक सेकंड, इसका जवाब दीजिए।
Padmaja, in the last 8 years, 6 crore households have got tap connections, 12 crore households have got toilet connections, 43 crore households have got bank connections, bank accounts, 3 crore households have got electricity connections, 11 crore have got Ujjwala cylinders, 50 crore people have got Ayushman Bharat free medical scheme, health care, 200 crore vaccines have been administered, 80 crore people have got free rations, and there have been 1.25 crore houses that were constructed in the first 5 years, and now 3 crore houses are being built for the poor. I hope I'm not interrupted. We spend 90 lakh crore on social welfare and on capital expenditure. But I want to ask Dushyan Nagar, the poverty that he speaks about, in the last 8 years, poverty has come down from 22% to 18%, but in Rajasthan, poverty rate has gone up, BPL population has gone up from 14.7 to 23.2. What are you doing to address the poverty in Rajasthan? 31% unemployment in Rajasthan, and Bagal ka Gujarat 1.5%, Uttar Pradesh is less than 4%. No, 1 second, I'm giving you facts, sir. Please, don't interrupt me when I'm giving facts. और तीसरी बात, बाकी सब छोड़ दे, बोल रहे भारत को तोड़ने का काम हुआ है ना। अरे प्लीज बीच में मत बोलो ना। दुष्यंत जी, आपको क्या बीमारी है भाई?
अरे आप
अब बीमारी क्या है?
दुष्यंत जी प्लीज लेट इट क्विकली फिनिश बिकॉज़ आई नीड टू आस्क अ काउंटर क्वेश्चन। यस,
ये भारत जोड़ो यात्रा है ना।
गरीब कर रहे हैं।
This is dramatization. You know, you can also stand in the rain. The point I'm trying to make is, if this is about Bharat Jodo, सबसे बड़ा भारत को जोड़ने का काम तो 370 हटाने को हुआ है। चिदम्बरम and Digvijay Singh opposed it. They with Article 370's abrogation.
Okay, let's just talk about the reason that this yatra is happening. शहजाद पूनावाला, you can say कि ठीक है, सिर्फ ये optics है, इससे कुछ निकल के नहीं आएगा, कोई मैसेज नहीं है। My point is that is how mobilization happens, right? Before the elections in 2014, the Prime Minister, the then candidate, Mr. Modi, came with a larger message and a campaign saying, अब की बार मोदी सरकार। उन्होंने ये नहीं कहा कि अब की बार मोदी सरकार क्योंकि मैं डीबीटी करूंगा, क्योंकि मैं जनधन खाते खोलूंगा। He then came with a larger message of change, saying अब की बार मोदी सरकार, बहुत हुई महंगाई की मार, बहुत हुए बलात्कार, अब की बार मोदी सरकार। Similarly, Rahul Gandhi is going with a larger message. The specifics will be given when he comes into mobilization और campaign तो ऐसे ही होता है ना, larger message, एक hope, भारत जोड़ो।
Let's forget everything else. One message that his family has given for 4 generations is गरीबी हटाओ। कितनी गरीबी हटाई? मैं अभी तो राजस्थान का बता रहा हूँ, गरीबी कितनी हटाई। But on the other hand, whatever optics we have done, we have matched it with outcomes. I just read out all of this: 13.5% GDP growth, fastest growing economy from fragile economy of 11th position to 5th position, overtaking UK's economy. Highest FDI is now, highest forex reserves from $250 billion to above $500 billion. The ease of doing business has jumped up 80 places. We have also delivered. And महंगाई also, Rajasthan by the way charges 31% VAT on petrol and diesel, therefore it's 108 rupees a litre, it's 96 rupees a litre in Uttar Pradesh because the VAT is 60%.
But you will admit that at least optics are important at a time when you had dismissed him as a non-player. To see somebody just standing there is in itself a big image for the voter to connect with.
Optics without delivery is only rhetoric, and this family has only given rhetoric for the last 50 years.
सरकार में आएंगे तब करेंगे ना, अभी तो rhetoric ही कर सकते हैं। Opposition में थोड़ी ना वो कोई आप काम कर देंगे।
People also check your track record. When Mr. Modi was running for the Prime Minister, they saw his track record as Gujarat CM, and they have seen the track record of this family, which has ruled this country for 55 years.
Okay, the trends and your track record, Sandeep Singh, आपकी इस फोटो को बीट करते हैं। आप जितनी भी पावरफुल फोटोज खिंचा दीजिए, ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड आपके हक में नहीं है। संदीप सिंह,
देखिए, जिस तरीके से साउथ से भारत जोड़ो यात्रा चलकर उत्तर की ओर आ रही है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी को इस यात्रा से सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत यह है कि जिस प्रकार से कांग्रेस ने देश को जोड़ा था, कांग्रेस के इतिहास ने देश को जोड़ा था, 8 साल के अंदर नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार ने भारत को सिर्फ और सिर्फ तोड़ने का काम किया है। किस प्रकार तोड़ने का काम किया है? बेरोजगारी, महंगाई, उत्पीड़न, दलित उत्पीड़न, तमाम ऐसे मामले हैं, महिलाओं पर अत्याचार, उत्तराखंड में अभी भी अंकिता को न्याय नहीं दिला पाए हैं।
राजस्थान में 8 लड़कों ने मिलकर एक नाबालिग का बलात्कार किया।
भारत जोड़ो यात्रा,
राजस्थान में 8 लड़कों ने एक नाबालिग का बलात्कार किया। प्रियंका वाड्रा चुप है। फिर एक नूरदीन नाम के व्यक्ति ने अश्लील हरकतें की महिला के साथ, प्रियंका वाड्रा चुप है। सुनिए जरा, राजस्थान नंबर 1 है बलात्कार में। अशोक गहलोत ने कहा ज्यादातर मामले फेक है। शांतिलाल धारीवाल ने कहा कि मर्दों का प्रदेश है, बलात्कार होता रहेगा। एक वाक्य बताइए जहां पे प्रियंका वाड्रा ने मुंह खोला हो।
उत्तर प्रदेश के हाथरस में क्या हुआ?
उत्तर प्रदेश में तो गिरे हैं महिला उत्पीड़न के मामले, राजस्थान में बढ़े हैं 4 साल में।
लखीमपुर में क्या हुआ था उसके ऊपर?
वहां पर आप गए थे प्रोपेगेंडा करने, चुनाव हार गए सारे।
अजय टेनी कौन है?
अब अजय टेनी पे आ गए।
अजय टेनी कौन?
चलिए अजय टेनी के ऊपर जो कार्रवाई होनी है वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट के तहत होनी है।
नहीं, आप
सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उसका संज्ञान लिया। और बताइए।
देखिए मेरे को बात
नहीं, बलात्कार के विषय पे चलिए बात करते हैं ना। राजस्थान नंबर 1 है, 10 सिटीज में 5 सिटीज राजस्थान से हैं। नहीं बताइए कि क्यों वहां पे प्रियंका वाड्रा क्यों नहीं बोली? 8 लड़कों ने बलात्कार किया एक बच्ची का।
उनके जूतों से दिक्कत है आपको, उनके तमाम। आप मेरी पूरी बात सुनिए, जिस तरीके से आपके बीच में मैं नहीं टोक रहा था।
बोलिए संदीप सिंह।
राहुल गांधी के जब वो यात्रा लेके निकले, आपको उनकी टी शर्ट से दिक्कत, फर्जी ट्वीट भारतीय जनता पार्टी उनके खिलाफ करी है। संबित पात्रा धर्म के नाम पर एक छोटी सी बच्चे की जो फोटो है राहुल गांधी जी के साथ, उसको चला रहे हैं। स्मृति ईरानी जी झूठ बोल रही है कि राहुल गांधी जी ने विवेकानंद जी को प्रणाम नहीं किया, जबकि सामने सबके सामने आ गया, खुल के उन्होंने वीडियो में अपने भाषण में झूठ बोला। स्मृति ईरानी कब माफी मांगेगी? अब माफी मांगे, संसद में चिल्लाती है माफी मांगो, अब माफी मांगे।
मैं पहला पॉइंट एड्रेस करता हूं।
भारत जोड़ो यात्रा से आरएसएस और भारतीय जनता पार्टी को दिक्कत हो रही है।
ठीक है, कभी हम डरे हुए हैं, कभी हम डरा रहे हैं, ठीक है। पर मैं इनका पहला पॉइंट एड्रेस करता हूं। संबित पात्रा ने जो पिक्चर ट्वीट की मैं बताता हूं। जब पूरी दुनिया में महिलाएं उस पुरुषवाद के सिंबल को हटाने की मांग लड़ रही है, मासा अमीनी का प्रोटेस्ट चल रहा है, वहां पर महिलाएं अपना कुर्बानी देकर एक ऐसे ऑब्जेक्टिफिकेशन से हटने की कोशिश कर रही है, और जहां पर कोर्ट ने कहा है कि हिजाब नहीं किताब को ऊपर रखना है। मुझे बताइए, जब कर्नाटका हाईकोर्ट ने कहा, आप क्या कर रहे थे? कर्नाटका हाईकोर्ट ने बताया कि अनसीन हैंड्स व इंजीनियरिंग सोशल अनरेस्ट इन द नेम ऑफ हिजाब विद कैंपस फ्रंट ऑफ इंडिया। आप मुझे बताइए ना, महिलाओं अधिकारों की बात करते करते हमेशा कट्टरपंथियों के सामने आपने महिला अधिकारों का सहनन किया है, चाहे वो शाह बानो हो, चाहे वो शायरा बानो हो। आप बोल रहे बांटने की बात, देश को बांटा किसके दौर में बांटा गया था? आपकी सरकार थी जब हिंदू मुसलमान के नाम पर इंडिया पाकिस्तान बना। चलिए रुक जाइए ना, रुक जाइए। जो देश में सबसे बड़े दंगे हुए, 1984 का दंगा हुआ, हाशिमपुरा मीरठ, मलियाना, मुंबई, जलगांव, अहमदाबाद, ये दिल्ली, ये दंगे किसके समय पे हुए? किसके समय पे हुए दंगे? किसने कहा बड़ा पेड़ गिरता है तो धरती हिलती है? चले, हिजाब के नाम पर क्लासरूम को किसने बांटा? बताइए एक बार।
जो भी नेता, जो भी व्यक्ति, जो भी संस्थान भारत जोड़ने को निकलता है, तमाम दलित एक्टिविस्ट, आदिवासी एक्टिविस्ट, अल्पसंख्यक एक्टिविस्ट को जेलों में डालने का काम किसने किया? नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार।
Okay, this is not the time to go back into the past and see what happened in the past, but if there is a political party which is trying to pave a way for a future for the upcoming elections, well, more power to them. Good imagery, good messaging, but will it be backed up by concrete action plan as well? We'll be watching. Anyhow, it makes for great politics, great elections if you have a strong opposition. That's what we always say. Best of luck to everyone in the fray. Thanks very much, all gentlemen, for watching.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break. right back after the break. Newshour at 10.
You got.
Times Now has accessed the telephonic conversation between the accused Pulkit Arya and Ankita's friend. This is a phone conversation that took place between the main accused Pulkit Arya and Ankita's close friend. Listen in.
हेलो
हेलो
हाँ पता लगा कुछ?
हेलो बात करता हूँ बस आपको आधे घंटे में हम यहीं बैठे हुए हैं अभी।
कहाँ बैठे हो आप?
यहाँ स्टेशन में, पुलिस स्टेशन में।
पुलिस स्टेशन में?
हाँ, वो इंस्पेक्टर से बात हो गई है, वो पहुँच रहे हैं अभी हमारे पास 10-15 मिनट में।
आप अभी पुलिस स्टेशन में हो, वो रिजॉर्ट में जाएंगे
क्या? हाँ रिजॉर्ट में जाएंगे, पूरा सारा सब देखेंगे, सारी चीज सब देखेंगे, कहाँ है, किसके साथ बात किया, क्या नहीं किया, कॉल डिटेल पूरी निकालेंगे, हिस्ट्री सब निकालेंगे। भाई ये सब करना पड़ेगा।
अच्छा मुझे एक बात बताइए।
हाँ,
जब आपने मेरे को रात को फोन किया था कि इनको ले जाओ, है ना,
हाँ,
कहीं और जॉब ढूंढो, तो उसके बाद से उनका फोन बंद क्यों हुआ है? मेरे को ये समझ नहीं आ रहा।
भैया आपको सारी बात समझाएंगे, अभी आप आधा घंटा दीजिए, आधे घंटे बाद बात करते हैं।
चलो ये भी मानता हूँ, चलो जो भी है, मेरे को ये समझ नहीं आ रहा आपने अपना पर्सनल फोन कैसे दे दिया पूरी रात के लिए?
भैया मेरा पर्सनल फोन क्या है, मेरे फोन में क्या है, ऐसा कुछ
नहीं ऐसी बात नहीं है। जैसे मेरा कोई पर्सनल फोन है, मैं पूरी रात के लिए किसी को थोड़ी ना दूंगा।
हो सकता है कि शायद आपके पर्सनल फोन में कुछ ऐसी चीजें रहती हो कि आप किसी को नहीं दे सकते हो।
नहीं जो मर्जी हो, मगर पर्सनल फोन है ना, बंदा कहीं पे भी फोन कर सकता है।
और दूसरी बात क्या है ना, ऐसा है, देखिए मैं अभी यहाँ बैठा हुआ हूँ, मैं आपको भी आधे घंटे में बात करता हूँ।
देखो जो मर्जी हो, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आपकी, आपको ढूंढना पड़ेगा जो मर्जी हो।
भाई साहब वही कर रहे हैं, और आप ना हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मत समझाइए पुष्प, समझ रहे हैं आप?
देखिए मैं आपको समझा नहीं रहा हूँ, मैं आपको याद दिला रहा हूँ।
बस आपको याद दिलाने की जरूरत नहीं है, हम जानते हैं हम कितने रिस्पॉन्सिबल हैं।
हाँ बिल्कुल, आप ढूंढिए।
The most pressing issue, the most informed minds, and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए मथुरा में।
नहीं हेमा मालिनी
कन्हैया जी ने भक्त चाहिए जी कल राखी सावंत का फिल्म देंगे। He will also become. सांसद बनना चाहेंगे उसको तो आप बनने नहीं देंगे। आप दिमाग में सबको ऐसा डाल के रखेंगे फिल्म स्टार ही बनेगा। आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए मथुरा में।
नहीं हेमा मालिनी
कन्हैया जी ने भक्त चाहिए जी कल राखी सावंत का फिल्म देंगे। He will also become. बहुत अच्छी बात है।
आपका क्या विचार है इस बार? आप
मेरा विचार क्या मैं बताऊं? मेरा विचार भगवान के ऊपर है। लॉर्ड कृष्णा विल डू इट।
तो मैं तो देश की सेवा के लिए ही पैदा हुई हूँ और मैं देश की सेवा करना चाहती हूँ। और क्यों नहीं, हमारे मोदी साहब, हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी चाय बनाते बनाते प्रधानमंत्री जी पीएम बन सकते हैं, तो मैं बॉलीवुड में काम करते करते सीएम क्यों नहीं बन सकती हूँ? डेफिनेटली मैं बनूंगी। आप सबका आशीर्वाद चाहिए। तो 2024 में अब आप मुझे चुनाव लड़ते हुए देखेंगे। किसके अपोजिट, ये सरप्राइज है।
Hello and welcome. This is News Now Overnight and I'm Siddharth Talia. Let's begin the show by tracking the top 50 headlines this hour at 11 o'clock. As Bharat Jodo Yatra enters the 26th day, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi visited a mutt, a mosque and a church. Rahul Gandhi sought blessings from the seer at the Sutur Mutt as well. During his Bharat Jodo Yatra in Karnataka, Rahul Gandhi said that Karnataka has the most corrupt government in India, which charges 40% commission from farmers, labourers and small and medium businessmen. In a major push to the Bharat Jodo Yatra in Karnataka, Congress President Sonia Gandhi arrived in Mysore to join Rahul Gandhi on the Yatra. BJP leader Leher Singh in a letter claimed that he has information that some former Naxalites and their supporters were part of the Yatra as well. Reacting to the letter by BJP leader Leher Singh, Congress Member of Parliament Jairam Ramesh said that the BJP is levelling bogus allegations as they've been unnerved by the success of the Bharat Jodo Yatra. Speaking about the Congress presidential polls, contender Shashi Tharoor stresses the need for a renewed Congress party to take on the ruling BJP government. Major boost to Atmanirbhar Bharat, Indian Air Force